dokie. Let's start the show, shall we? Alright, I hope everyone can hear me. Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3. I think I've gotten the YouTube stream to work as well now. So we're back online, and just in time. Welcome to the Midnight Channel, even though it's starting today and yesterday at 10 PM Australian Eastern Time. Only because last night Ashton's arc was 6 hours long. 6 hours, and I didn't even have a toilet break. Should have seen me right after. I ran straight for the toilet. Whew. But now we're on the last and final chapter of the letter. Chapter 7. Thank goodness my voice lasted this long, because I can really hear it croaking, especially since last night. So I got some good night's sleep, I'm well, I'm a-okay, and now I am ready to see Luke's final chapter and what's going to happen to everyone. If you guys need a catch-up in Ashton's route, he finally believed all of them after getting attacked by the ghost himself, and he's gathered all of his friends, and Marianne as well, into the mansion where they're all at right now. And from where we left off, Luke was pointing a gun at Ashton, and then Hannah appeared being, well, actually no, she was held hostage by the ghost for some reason. Yeah, so that's the cliffhanger that we were on. So now we're about to go right into it. Let's jump right into chapter 7, shall we? Let's continue on with this. Perfect. Oh, I'm excited about Luke. To say that I'm scared of what's happening is a gross understatement. Trouble of any sort is the last thing I want to get home to after a long day at work and a trip to the bar. And when I see Hannah near prostrate, I can only feel dread. She twitches and seizes, body wound and coiled tight before thrashing, shuddering and shaking, like a woman possessed. Oh no. Her mouth falls open, and her eyes roll to the back of her head. It was the hallmark signs of a seizure. The symptoms are similar enough, and that knowledge, the fact that I know this, only makes me feel worse. This is back in the final of chapter 2, where Hannah got attacked by the ghost. But to hold her close is all I can do while she thrashes about. I know this is wrong, that I'm not supposed to hold her down, yet I do out of instinct, reflex even. I'm terrified of hurting her, but I see no other way to keep Hannah from hurting herself. It takes a lot to keep myself from running off to get help when she needs me here, and it takes everything I have to keep myself intact. When she says my name, I realize that the seizures have stopped, but that doesn't make the dread go away.
Please. What happened here? Who did this to you?
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
The sight of her streaked face is enough to twist the knife in. It does not help that I'm as lost as she is right now, and all I can say is...
Shh, it's alright. You're safe now, Hannah. You're safe now.
I must have sat there in the kitchen, cradling Hannah in my arms for an eternity until Strachan and a maid ran in, assuming the worst. She had been screaming enough to attract the attention of anyone on mansion property. But that's all well and good in the end, I suppose, as they helped carry Hannah up to our bedroom. I doubt I could have managed on my own. I might have slipped on the stairs and cracked both our heads if I tried. Both Strachan and the maid does a short work of making her comfortable while I sit on the sidelines. I have no idea how long I remained there, just watching them and her. But at some point after they've left us, the sun has set, leaving the room dark and silent. Nestled in all the pillows and blankets and put on her side though, Hannah looks smaller than ever. She looks so weak and vulnerable that I can't help but worry. Not to mention the children. Think about the children. I wouldn't know how such an event could affect babies in the womb. If you guys didn't know, in chapter 2 it was revealed that Hannah is about to have twins. Yeah. Now seems like a good time to get drunk as any. Oh no, Luke. But I just can't. Good on her. I can't bring myself to leave her side just to intoxicate myself. Not with what just happened. I might just drink myself to death if I so much as tried. He's really worried.
Please, stay with me, darling.
Of course. Anything for you, sunshine.
There's no way I can leave her side without feeling guilty. Besides, what sort of husband and father would I be if I don't take care of her when she's sick? Not that I'm too confident about what I can do on my own. I'm not trained for this sort of thing. I don't think anyone really is. Even if I've experienced similar scenarios before, I might still have it all wrong. I've already called our personal physician along with the obstetrician who knew of her pregnancy for a house call in the morning. We'll have to go on from there. I don't like to think about it, but I can still remember the doctor's instructions on how to take care of my mother while she was ill. Provided a safe space for her to rest, check. Let her lie on her side so that she doesn't choke, check. Loosen tight clothing to let her breathe, check. Keep calm and don't panic, well, I'm having a bit of trouble with that one, aren't I?
Do you want any water? Something to nibble on, perhaps? I can call for something to be brought up. Soup would be good, right?
I'm fine, Luke. Don't you worry. I'm just a little sick, but I'll get better.
You were attacked. A pained look crosses her face, and more than anything, I wish I can take away the pain she feels now. When she beckons me to come closer, to hold her in my arms, who am I to say no? Lull her to sleep. Her body still quivers, tiny shakes that make my heart feel like it's going to stop and give every time they happen too much. I take care to give her room to breathe, no matter how much of an uncomfortable position it puts me in. Her scent is enough to bring me at ease. Golden flowers, marigolds, buttercups, and daffodils. I'm not sure if she smells this way because I surround her with them when I can, or because she's wearing the perfume I gave her last Christmas.
There we go. Now, are we comfy?
She nods her head weakly, a smile barely making its way on her lips. Oh, this is precious. I'd be ready to fulfill any request she has. Anything to make this easier for her. Anything to make her happy. But when she next speaks, I can feel my breath catch under my throat.
Sing me a lullaby.
A lullaby? Of course. I can do that.
I know I've done so many things in my lifetime that would justify a horrible end, but not Hannah. She doesn't deserve this. This is all far too horribly familiar. To find myself in bed, clutching reverently to an ill-beloved, wishing it isn't real and hoping it doesn't get any worse. To find myself screaming at a god I've long abandoned and forgotten. Not her, not again. Take her and you will bloody rue. To have a lullaby shared so that we can forget the pain and the fear.
Hush, my darling, don't say a word. I'm gonna catch you a mockingbird.
I can hear her breathy laugh. Though she doesn't tell me to stop. If this amuses her, then that's fine. But her breathing soon evens itself out. A good thing too. And before I know it, she's fallen asleep. If only it would be as easy for me. I certainly don't envy her, but I don't particularly like how my mind runs right now. Battered and frayed, clutching at straws, and asking myself if I'll really let myself fall apart in this moment. It's alarming how just the thought of losing her could break me, pregnant or not.
And if that mockingbird don't sing, I'm gonna get you a diamond ring.
I've already lost my mother, the only other woman I've truly loved in my life, and without knowing then as a young man, that wounded a great part of me. I am aware now of how scarred I am, for a lack of a better term. And if anything ever happens to Hannah, well, I don't know what I'd do after the fact. Would the loss drive me insane? Would I become mad and swear bloody vengeance on a world that deserves less than her? Would I end up drowning in sorrow and guilt until I end up drinking one night and figuring a bullet is a good way to go? Or perish the thought, would I become like my father, one who had no further love for anything, not others or even objects or self? Oh gosh, the vainglorious mogul that worked and worked for the sake of succeeding in the search of happiness that would never come.
And if that diamond ring turns brass, we're gonna go to fields of grass.
For a long while, I was that man, wasn't I? Pursuing gold and glory and nothing else. Bloody hell, I even started courting Hannah for the money her family had. She was a mark to be attained, but she was just so bright. And I don't mean intelligent, though she's certainly that too. No, she was bright in a manner that she could bring such sunshine to anyone's dreary life. I thought I would need to put on a mask with her, just like with all the others. But if anything else, she made it feel so constricting, suffocating, that I pulled off the mask on my own. I had wanted to be myself around her, just as she was so willfully showing her real self to those around her. It wasn't some sudden realization. There was no eureka moment. It just happened.
And in those fields where we roam, we'll take daffodils for our home.
We would meet up and talk about business, but then those could only last for so long after a few dozen dates. We ended up talking about other things, little things that didn't seem to matter so much, inconsequential things that one would end up forgetting in the grand scheme of things, like puppies or cats. Good food, good music, dogs, the film we just saw, books we've read while we were apart, and places we want to go. Things that weren't important suddenly are. It confused me so much, but I was happy. And at some point I told myself that this was the Mun I wanted to spend my life with. Then I would forget that a lot. It was out of some misguided need to be my own person, to not be defined by anyone else. I refused to put her on a pedestal, or to make her the center of my universe. Married or not, we were our own person at the end of the day. But I would forget to, at the very least, remember that she was there with me.
And if those daffodils die and wilt, we'll still have the home that we built.
She made me better, but I am still me to an extent, still the son of a bitch that has something to prove. I forget it again and again, no matter how hard I try. I'll spend extra hours at the office for something or another, to have favourable stocks, to take care of a debt, something. Sometimes I'll even bring work home if I haven't gone to drink and destroyed my liver. I'll flaunt the riches, some of which aren't even rightfully mine in the first place, and lord myself over everyone else because I fucking deserve it. Because that is how I prove myself, when I don't even have to prove myself to Hannah. Sometimes I wonder, had we met under different circumstances, had I grown up a different way, would all of this be any better? Would we be any happier?
Good night, my sunshine.
Now there's a thought.
Mommy, what happened? You were wiggling and shaking, and you wouldn't stop even if I was shouting. I'm so sorry I shouted at you, Mommy.
Shh, don't cry. My little ball of sunshine's not supposed to cry, is he? Don't you worry. Mummy is just a little sick, but she'll get better. I've got a new job now, and I can get medicine again, okay? And we'll buy some bread pudding, too, while we're at it.
Oh, maybe they weren't so well off.
Please don't do that again, Mommy. It's scary.
It's okay. I'm here. You've got nothing to fear. But you have to be brave too, Lucille. Even when I'm not around.
His real name's Lucille, not Luke?
Be brave.
I choke back a scream and wake up in a cold sweat. With my heart pounding in my ears, it takes a while to remember where I am. In the dark and cold of the room, one can't fault me for feeling ill at ease. It isn't as bright as the penthouse, and the renovations did little to change how old it feels. We've been here for less than a week. It'll take a bit more time to adjust. It's hard to feel cozy though, when I'm bloody freezing. Oh, it's probably the ghost. Nudging the lamp of fabric next to me, I sigh.
It's cold. Don't hog the sheets, Hannah.
She always did this though, it hardly bothers me. Growing up, I was lucky to have something to use as a mattress. I'm not the one who grew up accustomed to Egyptian cotton with a thread count of 800? God damn. Besides, the warmth that Hannah exuded on her own is usually enough to keep me sleeping through the night. The temperature tonight must be something else with how chilly it is right now. I must be considerate, after all the poor dear is ill, though I loathe to think about what had just transpired.
Don't make me pull those sheets off you. Oh, that blanket is large enough to cover an elephant. You'll need to share.
It takes a while.
What was that, honey? Apologies. I'm just in the loo, so if you can give me a moment.
Oh? There's no sign that they'll be moving where they lie. With care, I go for a knife hidden under the side of my bed. It would be foolish of me to instigate anything while I'm unarmed after all. What? What is he doing? To pull back the covers would be a more difficult affair, because reaching out to uncover who was underneath, I have to prepare for anything and assume the worst. Oh no. If I so much as see the nozzle of a gun, there's going to be a murder tonight. I know they say not to bring a knife to a gunfight, but I think I can sink a blade in his liver faster than he can point and aim. I see the rise and fall of the sheets, though it could easily be mistaken as the fault of the breeze. I hear their breathing. A great sense of foreboding comes over me, making me hesitate with my plan. I should just get Hannah and myself out of here. Yeah, you should cheese it. Not look back and let security handle it. That's what they're there for. Or maybe I should just man up. There's no way I'm risking the chance that inaction will put Hannah in danger. But what's the worst that could happen, right? I've no reason to be afraid. There's no boogeyman under the bed, no monsters in my closet. If anything, these things should be afraid of me, right? I grab a fistful of sheets and throw them aside. Oh no. Nothing. Nothing but a bunch of pillows stare back at me. Must be my imagination. I'd rather not think I'm going mad. It could very well be the stress getting to me, all this drama with Hannah. I've been doing well all these years, all things considered. I guess I do have a breaking point. But still, the world goes on, even if one cannot. And I must go along with it. I suppose a day off or two tomorrow wouldn't hurt. Rest aside from a few hours of sleep will be welcome, more than. But I can't shake off the unease. I dare say that I feel afraid, irrationally so, that something will come creeping and crawling from under the bed, even as I lay back down and close my eyes. Yeah, she has a tendency of doing that, the ghost. The odd dreams don't linger, thankfully. But with the morning comes another disturbance. Both too loud and too sharp for my taste, and I have very fine taste. Ah, this must be when Zach rung the doorbell. When the piercing rings of a doorbell reaches even the bedroom, I'm very much inclined to think the person who built this place lacks any sense of it. Perhaps the only thing good in this is that the ruckus has chased away the needling guilt from last night's commotion, if only temporarily. Still, it's a bloody annoying distraction. I can tell already that it is going to be a long day. It hasn't even started. Before the racket even lasts a minute, I'm peeling myself off the bed and heading straight for the main door. I mean, don't you have Johans or the maids or butlers do it? There will be a murder today if this doesn't let up. How quaint. It seems everything in this blasted universe is intent on getting on my nerves as of late.
Gordon Bennett! Only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour!
In the first place, I shouldn't be the one doing this. This is why I hired a valet, for fuck's sake.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
I'll be honest, if only for today. With the mansion this quiet at this hour of the morning, it's easy to believe those little ghost stories might be real. But the only horror here is the news Hannah has brought forth yesterday and the very idea of me being a father. Neither the deafening silence nor the biting chill spreads across every room in the place. My wife is pregnant. Bloody bollocks. There's no place for fear when another set of problems already burns that fuel, so I wait for another second. When no butler still answers my call, I simply yank the doors open myself, perhaps with more force than needed. And maybe it should be appropriately there, considering the person on the other side and the hour he dared appeared on my doorstep. Even someone with half a brain knows not to disturb anyone this early. Brief confusion quickly gives way to anger, and before the bloody photographer can even get a word in, I'm hurling venom at him. It's less than what he deserves, really. Hannah will disapprove, scold me for treating the photographer with such disrespect if she hears me right now. She seems fond of him after all, despite meeting him only once or twice. He's merely doing his job, she'll say. But she's not here, isn't she? What she doesn't know...
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in seven hells do you want? It's bloody 6 in the morning!
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time! Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't!
This is still my home. My rules also apply to this place as much as Hannah's do. As simple as that.
Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep.
It just so happens he's also a person I will never take a liking to. No need for remorse.
Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
He continues shouting even as I slam the door in his face. Some nonsense about the news lately, though I don't understand most of it. However, with the closed doors muffling the better part of it, and with no ears to listen, his tirade doesn't last too long. Eventually, he leaves, and silence once again fills the room as it should. In hindsight, maybe I should also call psychiatric services. He certainly sounds mental just screaming like that. A suspicious man like him left roaming the immediate grounds, nothing good can come of it. But if his presence will indeed bring a problem, a sign of bad things to come, I'll probably know soon enough. Worst comes to worst, Strocken will take care of it. Okay, so it must be Johannes Strocken, if need be. It's what I'm paying him for. In the meantime, the bigger problem at hand. It's on a whim that I've chosen to cook. What? Really? Sure, I have a lot of other things I could have done instead, but cooking distracts me, and I could do it relaxing on the rare occasion I step up to the task. Ooh, wow, look at that. Look at that. 2 eggs, French toast, omelette, and beans? On the tray, 2 plates of roti paired with spicy beans, boiled eggs, hash brown, and bacon, topped off with peppers. Courgettes and akis? I have no idea what those are. I can't get back to sleep after my awakening earlier. Although I did think about drinking to get some 40 winks, I've changed my mind at the reminder that my very pregnant wife is sick in bed. Good. I love my alcohol, no doubt, but there are times when even I shouldn't drink. As it is, I'm running on nothing but 2 cups of coffee. The surprise on Hannah's face is apparent the moment I step into our bedroom holding a breakfast tray, but it quickly changes to a look of delight as I place the tray on the bed.
Good morning. What's all this then? Oh, that does smell good.
I made breakfast. In hindsight, I probably should have prepared something a lot healthier for you.
Oh, don't you fuss. This is absolutely perfect. A little grease isn't going to kill me. Feels like forever since I last had your cooking.
I don't see what you're so enthusiastic for. I'm no master chef. I won't be too mad if you tell Johannes to cook something else for you. That just means more for me, of course.
That's good that he doesn't waste. I can't wipe the grin off my face when Hannah takes a bite and looks like she's enjoying what I've made. It would be a lie to say I'm not glad or proud that I can make her happy, though perhaps I haven't been able to do that as of late, but Hannah needs me now, and that counts for something, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't think I can finish this all. But I should, shouldn't I? After all, I am eating for 3.
I feel a terrible pit in my stomach at the reminder. I try to fill said pit with food anyway. But bloody hell, I don't think I'm ready to raise a child, let alone 2 of them. There's nothing else that can be done other than steel myself for fatherhood.
Speaking of you 3, what did Dr. Hobbs say? How are you and the babies?
The physician took some of my blood. I'll go through some other tests tomorrow to make sure we're fine. I know how you hate hospitals, so I asked Johannes to drive me there. That way you can have some alone time with Kylie too.
Ah.
Admit it, you just want to leave me alone with a little tyke without any backup.
Don't be like that. You'll do fine, I'm sure. And she'll love spending the day with her fairy godfather.
Of course, I can just look at it like it's practice. I do want to be a good father, right? Not like my own, though I don't think any practice in being a parent would have helped him. He hadn't cared about the son, he sighed, until he learned that he was ill and was not long for this world. That must be when he inherited everything. And even when he did find me, he still cared little. I definitely do not want to be like Damien Wright. I'm just worried about you. I'm just worried about the children. They're both good, right? Yeah, we're really full in Hannah's. Marianne, okay, cool. Rebecca, all the way up, that's awesome. Ashton, he hates. Yeah, sure. I'm worried about you. Sure.
I'm just worried about you, Hannah. You sure you don't want me to go with you to the hospital tomorrow?
Minus? Aw.
I can always tell Suarez to bring Kylie over another day.
All of my memories in hospitals are bad ones. Doctors only bring bad news. Pills and money exchanging hands. All I can see is a mother too weak to take care of herself, let alone me. How her brightness dulled so badly. She might as well blend in with the white hospital walls, with how pale and lackluster she was. My breakfast starts to grow stale, and I feel like throwing up for a moment.
I'll be fine, Luke. No need to your head over me. I'll go through those lab tests, I'll visit my gynecologist while I'm there too. It'll all be over and I'll be home before you know it. Besides, I don't want you hanging around and scaring the doctors.
She says that, but I still can't shake off this bad feeling, this dread which creeps up my back and crawls into my ears. It's nothing new, perhaps. I hate doctors as professionals on principle. I mean, how can anyone not be afraid of the white coats and bloody hospitals? They know about how to help people, that is a given, but it's entirely logical that they know how to do the complete opposite. With their intimate knowledge of the human body, they'll be able to break as much as they mend. Who's to say that we're safe behind the doctor-patient confidentiality? Can we trust the drugs they give us? I don't think I can so easily put my life in the hands of another human being.
Doctors are the scary ones, not me. I swear, a lot of them are vampires.
She laughs and shakes her head, and I know she doesn't mean to mock, but I hardly see it as a laughing matter.
You are being irrational. And I'm...
Of course.
Oh, my
you
bad.
can. Am I not allowed to be worried about my pregnant wife?
Let me hear that again.
You are being irrational. And I'm going to be fine. Don't you trust that I can take care of myself?
Of course you can. Am I not allowed to be worried about my pregnant wife?
A look passes over her face, too quick for me to decipher what it is.
Sorry, I'm just not used to you worrying about...
About me? About her?
I think I want to go back to sleep.
If that isn't dismissal, I don't know what is. And maybe another time I would have been mad, yet I find that I'm only tired, resigned. I don't know how this journal works. Like, I see that it's wait, what is today? The 30th or something? Indian simply left her to rest. Oh, okay, right. And maybe any other time I would have been mad, yet I find myself only tired, resigned. I can only give a terse nod and start on putting away the plates. Neither of us find it in ourselves to finish the scraps of food that remain. Appetites lost. There is no protest as I step out with the tray in hand. It's tempting to just drop it all to the ground. Carrying it down the stairs, it all seems heavier than it should be, though I'm not sure if I'm talking about the tray or something else. The butler waits at the bottom of the steps and takes it from my hands.
Johans, look after her. I just need to get out.
For now, I can go and stretch my legs. Fresh air, or that.
Is everything all right? Should I be worried?
A nervous laugh escapes my mouth as I remember the last time I was asked that question. My collar had thought me shaken when that photographer was cozying up with Hannah. Whatever I felt then, this is much worse.
Do I look like I need a serious drink?
What?
Nothing. I'm fine. I just need to breathe.
Grey skies loom over the horizon, though the sun fights for every precious minute it gets to stay. It'll rain again soon, with the wind bringing along the gloomy clouds normal to Luxburn. Until then, it doesn't hurt to be out here for fresh air and sunshine. I walk to the gardens, what little of it there is at the moment anyway, and kneel by the daffodils. These were the first to be brought here and planted on my request, and if nothing else, they brought in a sense of peace. They were Mother's favourites. Closing my eyes, I lift my chin up to welcome the light that shines upon me. And for a minute, I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming, and all too happy to stand in its warmth. Life would be much easier if we were all like flowers, wouldn't it? But I didn't step out here to get all philosophical. I have problems, much more practical than figuring out the meaning of life after all. Too many things have gone on these past few days, and I want to forget about them, even for just a
It's
moment.
almost All Saints, isn't it? To think I've almost forgotten.
What's All Saints? I speak the words absent-mindedly. The date means nothing to me, as I neither worship a religion nor have any graves to visit. After all, my mother was never given a proper burial. But it's a date, as good as any, for me to grieve. Otherwise, I would have done so every single day, crippling myself and shutting everyone else out. This is when he met Rebecca, and then after they went for dinner, he got some daffodils from a shop. I can remember how the flames licked at her flesh, and how it consumed her body until there was nothing left but ash. I stood there watching with the operator and a social service worker, though I could have been alone for all I cared. I felt alone. It was the most that could be done. No one would attend the funeral of a dead prostitute, let alone pay for it. All that is left of her, proof that she had lived, is her name written in a ledger of Luxburn Cemetery, a lighter, and me. Pulling out the lighter from my jacket, I can't stop myself from flicking it open to stare at the flame and to run my thumb over her name. Oh, Eleanor. All in all, it isn't much, but it's something. And it'll be wrong of me not to make something of myself when she would have given everything to make sure I can become anything I want to be.
Feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare right now. What I would give to have you here by my side, Mother dear. To see you smiling at me. Alive and as beautiful as ever. I'm afraid I'm starting to forget what your face looks like. I've already forgotten the shade of your hair.
Eleanor Chandler was a wonderful woman, though not everyone would have agreed. Not everyone had seen past her occupation, past her vices and her illness. All they saw was a woman who sold her body to make ends meet and had a bastard son because of it. They didn't see the mother who worked hard to put food on the table for me, the woman who gave and gave and gave to me while expecting nothing in return. She taught me the merits of hard work, but though I loved her so, I worked hard for myself. I would not be so foolish, so selfish towards people I would never give back. I learned that from the father who plucked me out of an orphanage for his own selfish gain. I pocket the lighter before I can feel the urge to actually set anything ablaze. Considering my close proximity to the flowers, they would be the most likely victim of arson. Just the thought itself is blasphemous. Nevertheless, that doesn't save them from being picked. Just enough to make a bouquet of the things in honor of Eleanor.
Would you be proud of me if you saw me now, Mother?
I clicked
Maybe.
thrice. I hope I didn't miss anything. Okay, that's so weird.
You're always so forgiving. No matter what trouble I got into, more than I deserved. Especially now.
It's been a while since I talked to my mother like this. I've been thinking of both my dear parents far too much as of late, when I shouldn't. I have a future to look forward to, and the present to take care of. These memories of the past give me nothing but grief. The life of Lucille Mitchell Chandler should be nothing but a footnote in Luke Wright's non-existent autobiography. It's because of Hannah, isn't it? I worry that she is all too much like Mother, that it scares me, and the thought that I'm turning into my father is even more so. But even if history is so set to repeat itself, I'm not a child anymore. Content to sit aside, unable to do anything to help, and too inexperienced to think that the worst wouldn't happen. I have money to buy the best medicines, and doctors if need be. She'll get better. She has to. And once we get over this little bump in the road, I can stop worrying. All will be right with the world. Unfortunately, my time alone is cut short though.
I think those flowers look beautiful, my lord. The parlor, the room where the lady stays for her tea. It could certainly use some.
The voice is not familiar, though I'm not really one to remember such things. Going with her attire, I would say that she's one of the housekeepers. Strange, considering I've sent all of the staff but Johann's away. And her face, as pretty as it is unfamiliar to me. It would be a lie if I said that it didn't set me on edge. Most would say I cared little for my employees, but that isn't entirely untrue. However, I like to think I know the people who work for me, especially those who would roam my home, even if it's just a face and a name. Huh? Besides, I would remember a beauty such as her. So who is this? Oh! If she is someone impersonating a household staff to get in, she's doing a bad job of it.
Didn't you get the memo? Are you new? Today is a day off. You aren't supposed to be here.
I expect poor excuses and apologies, the likes of her often give, but she merely smiles.
Oh, no. I've been a servant here since you first came.
And I see no signs of lying nor hear it in her words, yet they can't be true. But I find that I feel like I can relax. She has the sort of smile that makes one's kindness shine through without words or action. It reaches her eyes, filling them with a strange sort of mirth, as if she's just thought of something very funny. Perhaps had it been any other person, I would have interpreted it as a deceitful grin. But the curls of her lips and the shine of her hair are too soft to hold any malice. She takes my silence as a sign that she can continue, and it's not like I feel any urgency to stop her. I'm not really in the mood for company, but I'm not adverse to it at the moment either. Entertaining a beauty like her, even for a little while, wouldn't hurt. It helps that she proves easy to listen to, despite how oddly she speaks.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I shouldn't have bothered you. Look at me, talking to the master of the house without even asking for permission. What will the others think? If you'll excuse me, I'll just...
I haven't driven you away yet, have I? And it's your day off. I don't see why we can't chat a bit.
Of course. If that is what you wish. As long as it does not get you into trouble with the lady. To even take time for someone as lowly as me. No wonder that everyone under the mansion's employ is so fond of you. Though it should have no longer been a surprise to me. You have always been such a kind and loving lord.
Oh no. I have to stop myself from calling her out on her shite. It's almost as if she's talking about an entirely different man. No matter how big my ego gets, I know for a fact that I'm hardly in the running for Best Boss of the Year award. The only reason that most of my staff stay is because of the decent compensation. I'm not cheap. But if she wants to lay it on thick, I'll allow it. Who wouldn't want a beautiful woman complimenting them?
I'm sure she'll be fine with this. We are just talking after all. Unless you had other things on your mind when you approached me.
The words leave my mouth before I even realize what I've said. I panic a bit. Though I can get away with picking up women out in the city, sometimes even out of the country, I've always taken care not to do so in my home or in my business. Not when it'll be so easy for Hannah to find out about my infidelity through these channels. Though, seriously, I still don't see what the big deal about it is. I just have an itch I need to scratch.
I know it must be amusing to see a girl flustered for a man of your stature. But please don't say such things, my lord. I saw you alone and simply thought you could use some company.
Thankfully, I do not count my lucky stars. It seems the woman takes it as a joke rather than the casual pass it was intended to be.
So how are you liking your work around the mansion? The place is wonderful, but I imagine the upkeep is ungodly with all the rooms and whatnot. I don't even want to think about how many people are on the staff roster.
Work is work, my lord. It is a way of living. A purpose from day to day. It is certainly far better than doing nothing or having no food to eat. The house itself is also beautiful. There's no lack of things to look at. I'm sure you've seen those books in the study. I can't read any of them yet, but if given the chance, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be thinking of those things. Especially when the rains, they might bring more work to us soon. It will definitely be much more difficult when it returns. Idling about is the least I should be doing.
I guess you can put it that way if you want to be brutally honest about the whole thing. And the rain shouldn't be a problem. Hopefully. Maybe.
If a little dreary, at least she doesn't beat around the bush. I like the honesty. Many would bemoan the status as a household staff, as a janitor or other menial role, and believe themselves to be for greater things. And I would not begrudge the idea that one can always get better. But one shouldn't be so discontent with what they have either.
The rain is something I simply must get accustomed to, if I am to live here. I've not spent long in this place after all. But I have been told that it has rained in this nation since a mother's time, and their mother's time. There is little we can do about it. I am just glad to have time in the sun, even for a short while.
Isn't that the truth? Really, these sunny days have been welcome, though I can't imagine they'll last for long. Sometimes I just want to pack my things and leave for somewhere like, say, the Bahamas or whatnot. Get some sun and surf.
But certainly, you will return for us, won't you? This is your home, after all.
Your people, they won't be pleased if the master of the house leaves.
Of course, I can't very well leave my businesses hanging here, can I? I just wish I could actually trust people enough to go on vacation without taking work with me. I've also got to get back here if I ever want proper meals. A proper pudding is something you'll never find out there.
The woman nods in understanding, and I must say that she makes for a fine listening ear. Though what she says next gives me pause, whether she meant for me to hear it or not.
Good tea. From what the cook has been telling me, I've yet learned how to prepare one.
What's so chilling about that?
Perhaps once I do, it would endear the lady of the house to me. I never expected her to be so unkind after what she did for me.
Oh?
Though it's only if one catches her in a foul mood. I wish I knew how to avoid her anger.
I highly doubt she means Hannah. That woman rarely has a mean bone in her body. And when she actually is nasty towards someone else, it's usually deserving enough, much like that Rochelle woman. Hell, she even tolerates Harvey for me, even if she did admit that she doesn't quite like the man. She must mean the head housemaid, right? I have a laugh at that. Not that I have room to speak, I don't deal with her myself anymore, though even Johans has a few choice words about the head hag. She's just been under the right employee when she was also head housemaid for my father. And if anyone's not going to get along with someone, it would be that crotchety old woman. I don't even remember her name. But the woman had been strict, upstart bitch who took one look at me, her master's bastard son, and turned her nose up as if she were better by mere consequence of birth. That, and she absolutely loathed my existence. Perhaps the rumors had been true. She had a miscarriage while bearing another one of Dearest's father's children, and she saw me as an obstacle to her being granted a better standing in life. I remember that much at least. The only reason I haven't sacked her yet is because of her competence. Also because working under my household makes her absolutely miserable, her resignation made impossible by her pride.
Nobody really gets along with that woman. I think everyone just tolerates her because of how old she is. I mean, not to be rude or awful or anything, but she's at the age where she'll be pushing daisies soon enough.
I don't think you're talking about the same people, Go.
Is she? Really, my lord? I'm sure the lady is much younger than that.
I think the thought of tormenting the young and beautiful gives her reason to live.
It does seem that way. Though I feel sorry for her. One's life should not be wasted away on hatred and anger. It is never good for the heart or the head to always carry ill thoughts. But at the least, you are here for us. We are certainly so lucky to have a lord like you. The lady even more so. The gods smile down on her. Though, if I may be honest, she is to be envied.
Oh, those are flirting words. Even when I have my suspicions about her, she's just as easy to talk with that I've forgotten. I don't know who she is, and if she's actually one of the household staff, that would explain why she would so easily give obviously wrong statements about my character. Though, if she is here for malicious reasons, she would have done more than do small talk with me by now, wouldn't she? I have so many questions. Perhaps curiosity will kill this cat.
It's strange that I've never seen you before. What's your name?
You do not remember?
I don't believe you've mentioned it, or am I missing something?
You still cannot comprehend it, can you, my lord?
Her answers chipped away at the good mood I'm starting to get into. I have every right to be angry at the cryptic response. She threatens insubordination with her very presence alone. But instead of hurling vitriol at the woman, I take a deep breath. I do not want my mood ruined further than it already is. Not right now, when I can let my temper take its course another time.
Whatever your name is, and no matter how long you've been working for us, that does not change the fact that you shouldn't be here. I'll call you a cab to bring you to the city if you want.
Shouldn't I? What if I do not wish to leave? I merely desire to stay by your side and serve. Is that such a deplorable thing?
Her gaze sends chills down my spine. It's too easy to see the devotion, the obsession in her eyes. Not the good sort either, as her scrutiny makes me feel like I'm laid bare. The offness of her presence is all the more palpable with the feelings of bugs crawling on my skin and the silence that makes it seem as if the world has stopped. Any friendly atmosphere we might have had going for us is completely forgotten. Danger. A small part in the back of my mind screams, the part that has kept me alive all these years. And in hindsight, I'd be stupid not to take heed of it. But I've grown arrogant, complacent, and content to hide behind wealth and power.
Yes, it's a deplorable thing, as you said, because I'd like to be alone now. Thank you very much. If you didn't want the day off, you should have reported to your superior. This is utterly unprofessional of you, and I shall be issuing complaints. In fact, if you know it's good for you, you should start looking for another employer.
It's at my threat that the smile on her face turns tight.
I see. It escapes you still. This is unfortunate. How despairing that this misery must go on. But maybe, if you come with me, I can help you. I can...
When she reaches for me, I recoil with a hiss.
How dare you lay your filthy hands on me without my permission? I am not going anywhere with you. Now step back and walk away before I have you forcibly removed.
As if a switch had been flipped, the woman's expression turns horrific, although that may very well be the understatement of the century. She herself turns horrific. Her presence is suffocating, bearing down on me. I'm rooted on the spot, though no fault of my own, as my fear paralyzes. I wonder what's her true form.
You are too much like that vile woman, poisoned by her rotten influence and her filthy words. But that can be remedied now that you're here. Oh, how we have waited to welcome you home.
Who is we? There must be more, right?
Come, my lord. The house beckons.
When her fingers grasp at the back of my coat, I finally find it in me to break off into a run. I can still feel her eyes on me as I run back to the house. But I refuse to acknowledge it, let alone look back. All I need is to get away from her and to make sure she stays away. If that means acting like a coward and seeking out company to keep me safe, nobody can tell me to do otherwise. Bravery isn't something to be lauded if it comes along with stupidity. It must have been a sight to see the usually composed and reserved Luke Wright bursting through the doors. Not that I have much of an audience unless there are other staff members who's chosen not to disregard my orders for them to leave. Really, I still doubt that woman is one of the staff. Mustering up the courage, I look back through the windows to see if she followed me. She's gone. But I don't take any chances, putting as much distance as I can between us. Stopping to catch my breath, Johan's sudden appearance nearly makes me jump out of my skin.
Don't fucking do that! You son of a bitch! If I had a gun, I would have shot you!
If I had any love left for my mutter, I'd take offense. But what happened to you? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Oh, if only it were such a delusion, but I can still feel her sharp nails digging into my back. The feeling was too real for it to have been a ghost.
There was his housekeeper. I think, I'm not sure. In the gardens. She was acting odd and I thought to remove myself from the scene.
Strange. I made sure the rest of the staff had left and that the house was empty, as you requested. Describe this woman.
She had pale skin, dark eyes, and long dark hair. She wouldn't give me her name.
I half expected a name from him. The man knows the staff better than I do, after all. But instead of an answer, he grows quiet. I'm pretty sure that is not a good thing. I'm even more worried when the other man looks me over. I have to protest when he pulls back my collar.
What the bloody hell are you doing?
Checking for marks. Needle marks, to be exact. We don't have anyone like that among the staff. You could have easily been kidnapped.
A cold feeling settles itself over me at the thought. I've long established my power over the more unsavory characters in Luxman, or I thought I did, and the most harm I thought that could come to me would be slander, robbery, or incarceration, kidnapping, and attempt on my own person. I've forgotten that I'm as human as mortal as any other man despite my wealth and status.
Fortunately, you look unharmed. But I advise that you be accompanied by trusted individuals at all times from now on. If not me, an assigned guard. I'll be informing them of this soon as they return from their day in the city.
Already I can feel the energy leave me at the realization of what could have been.
All right. Yes, I suppose we should do that. But I think I'd like to call it a day. I should be safe in bed, yes?
I'll stand guard outside for the night. The madam has been inquiring about you, by the way.
A guard. Any other threat, and he alone would be enough to make me feel safe. But what I saw, whatever it is I saw, would one man be enough?
That's all well and good, but there's something else. That housekeeper, she...
Luke, you're home. I was worried about you.
The grin that I can muster is probably lopsided, forced as I snapped my mouth shut to keep myself babbling about witches and monsters, because here I am standing in the hallway, dirt on my pant legs and sweat dotting my forehead. A far cry from my usual pristine condition. I don't want to worry Hannah. A
What
cough.
happened to you? You look like you wrestled in the mud and lost, dear. And those flowers. Were you gardening?
What? Oh, these. I didn't realize I still had them.
I really did not. But there they were. There they are, still in my grip, the daffodils I had taken from the garden. Even in the wake of my flight, I had refused to let go of them, whether I was conscious of it or not.
Shall I put them in a vase?
Should I throw them away or give them... Why throw them away? Of course give them to Hannah. Like, why would I throw them away? Perhaps I did it to save face, or maybe a small part of me really had planned to take them for her. But like a young man presenting flowers to a Valentine's, I awkwardly thrust the bouquet in Hannah's direction.
They're for you.
These are lovely, thank you. But aren't these?
The surprise is to be expected, and the open-ended questions needs little interpretation. I've never given her daffodils before, especially not from ones that I considered mine.
They're for you. Don't make me think that kneeling around in the dirt was a waste of my time.
It's not. It's not. Just. Are you feeling alright? I hope whatever I have isn't contagious.
I'm not sick, Hannah. I just got them for you. I thought they'd make you feel better, brighten up the room. I don't need my intentions questioned. The thank you was enough.
And I didn't mean to insinuate anything. But you're right. Thank you, truly, for these.
She takes them from me, then, careful not to crush the stems. There is still certainty on her face, which endears and annoys me in equal parts. But she does look lovely with them, the very picture of something that should be immortalized in paint. They should be for Mother, but it doesn't matter
Why
anymore.
don't we turn in for the night? You must be exhausted with all that gardening.
What does a dead woman care for flowers? Halloween. Really, little sleep was had and I feel completely drained come morning. Even when Hannah rises from bed in spite of a mild fever and invites me down to breakfast, I can't be bothered and drag myself out from the comfort of the sheets. It's not like I need to do something particularly important today. The rain that has started sometime during the night doesn't help the mood. Okay, maybe it helps just a little. The strange sunny weather has been nice and all, but for it to return as it should be feels like a good sign of things to come. Perhaps things will settle back to normal and the crazy drama that has gone on lately will die down. The rhythmic pitter-patter of the rain fills the early morning silence with a steady beat. Thank goodness I don't have to be anywhere in a hurry today. I would hate to be caught unawares in this rain. With how it looks outside, it seems that the weather is making up for the sunny days it has given us with a good old-fashioned downpour. It does let up within the quarter of an hour, however. A day beginning with a cloudburst like this, locals usually take it as an immediate sign. Luxman's abysmal weather is back, likely for good. Yeah, the UK usually rains, eh? I hope they did a damn good job of fixing this place because I'd rather not deal with leaky roofs. Though Hannah might find humour in it, and perhaps asking me to sing in the rain to wear out my anger, I don't like the idea that the realty did a horrid patch job with the place. Well, Hannah technically paid millions for this place. It better live up to the price and realty company sold it for. Not that it's something she should be fretting about at the moment, when her health's not at its best. Hannah is going to be brought to the hospital for a checkup today, and if anything, I prefer that she focus on getting better. That fever, no matter how slight it is, can't be good for unborn children after all. Perhaps a proper rest is all she needs, but I'd rather not assume things. I'm a businessman, not a doctor. Wonder of wonders why I even bother agreeing to babysitting duty like that. Okay, so that means he must have gone to to babysit, and then after that he went to go gardening, or vice versa. But here I am, scheduled as today's babysitter. Oh no, that's today and Halloween. Okay. For Suarez's brat, once her father drops her off the mansion steps. Though that is a worry for much later. If I wish to, I can ask that nobody bother me while I doze off in a cocoon of comforters. But as always, someone has to be a buzzkill.
Are you really going to stay in bed all day?
What do you want? It's far too early to deal with your nosiness.
You must have been really rattled by what happened yesterday. If you need to talk about it, I am quite qualified in that regard.
Man, Johan's can do everything.
And you aren't even the slightest bit bothered. Truly, not even the slightest bit worried.
I was worried. But I realized that it's not my life in danger, is it? My worrying will not help matters. Neither will yours.
Loath as I am to admit it, he is right. The whole thing might have rattled me, but there is little point in jumping at every shadow I see from the corner of my eye. I shouldn't lose my head for a threat that might not even come. I should know better by now. But I've never been this worried about a possible threat on my life before. I'll be honest here. If anyone is in danger, it's Hannah. I can take care of myself just fine. With Security Titan, I'll have at least one guard, if not 5, making sure nobody gets within 10 feet from me without my say-so. Hannah, on the other hand, is pregnant and will be away for most of the day. It is a small relief that Johans will be with her.
Are there any updates about the woman?
Okay, so that's why we haven't seen Hannah a lot, because she's been in and out of hospital. Being in the dark has me on edge. Information, any at all, may very well help me in calming down.
I've already briefed security about her, and more from the agency will be arriving tonight. But they haven't seen anyone fitting the description.
So you have nothing then? A fat lot of use you guys are. What do I even pay you for? Do me a favor. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on your way out.
Well, there is something. It's about McCulloch.
Can anyone blame me if I show the tiniest bit of interest? She's still not done with the house, and she's a nice enough woman. Well, she's missing because she's in the dungeons right now. Plans to go back to sleep are gone.
I called her secretary about taking the day off. He hasn't heard from her over the weekend.
She's probably passed out after enjoying a pint or 2 or 10 in a bar somewhere. She's an adult. It was the weekend. She's allowed to disappear and not think about work. Fuck. I wish I was passed out after a night of drinking. He does know that mobiles are a thing.
That's all well and good, but she's not answering her mobile either. Mr. Parker will be filling a missing persons case with the police if she doesn't turn up today.
Certainly, someone must know where she is. Tabs are kept, without fail, on people who come to work with me. Yeah, she's like downstairs, in the wine cellar. Background checks and constant surveillance until they've finished their contracts with the rights. Some would say that it's all a bit over the top, but I can't be too safe. Too many want me dead.
What about one of ours? Has anyone seen her? She's pretty hard to miss with how tall the woman is.
The last anyone has seen of her was here, the morning of the party. Your housewarming party.
I think Johans was the last to see her as well. That isn't good news.
It wouldn't do for the police to hear of this and to suspect.
It's of little importance that I can easily prove my innocence. It is all a matter of principle, because even the accusation of misdemeanor should not stain my reputation, although maybe it is a bit too late to hope for a squeaky clean one. Besides, it'll be such a hassle to have police poking around about the house looking for a body that doesn't exist.
Now, if we're done here, I'd like to go back to sleep and...
Yeah, Kylie. Well, there goes any plans of grabbing some shut-eye. Rolling over on my stomach, I can only scream into my pillow.
Of course. Johans, distract her.
Oh, look, it's time for me to go. Have fun with your little play date. So long, farewell, and auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
Johans, don't you turn away from me. Keep her busy for an hour. Come on.
I have to press my face against the pillow once more to suppress a groan. You just can't get loyal help anymore.
Hello there, little Fraulein. Your uncle is just upstairs and will be down in a moment. He is super excited to have you today. I hope you're well rested and ready to play along.
Bastard. I'll be down in a sec, Munchkin. Let me just...
Change into a fresh shirt, brush my teeth, fix my hair, bemoan my very existence, wish I was anywhere else in the world right now. Don't get me wrong, Kylie is a great kid, wonderful, better than most brats her age, but handling a tyke is the last thing I want on my agenda right now with this whole Hannah business. Fortunately, I am well versed in how the world works. Money. I've long learned that the show must go on, no matter what hurdles come in my way. So I set to preparing for the day. Running a comb through my hair is just divine and simply makes me feel more human. Bed hair is disgusting, though it isn't as bad as it was when I was a child. With how expensive a trip to the barber's was, I often had to grow it out until mother had the time to cut it for me. The curls and tangles were simply horrid. Why, I was even mistaken as a little girl because of that. It certainly doesn't help that I was named Lucille. A freshly pressed shirt is enough to chase away the last signs of sleepiness. The feel of crisp and clean cloth in my hands is a clear marker to the start of the day. Smoothing down my suit and my hair with a sigh, I steel myself for the horrors. The horrors that come with taking care of a child.
Good morning to you, Luke.
Speak of the devil and she shall appear. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, Kylie grins up at me as soon as I open the bedroom door. She swings the backpack she's clutching, hitting my leg in a show of impatience and looking entirely unapologetic for it.
Did you just wake up? Don't tell me you forgot. It's our playdate today.
I doubt I'd forget. Kylie's visits are frequent enough thing that they found a way into my schedule. They're supposed to be visits to her godmother, but we can't pick who a child gets along with. So long as I'm not busy, her father can drop her off for the day. Which is all well and good for me if it makes Suarez focus on work I've given him. Besides, she's a bright child, tolerable. Kid's got a good head on her shoulders and can get pretty mature for her age at times. Of course, they have to thank me for that. Her parents can take partial credit, but Hannah and I have been there for this kid since she was just a small babe. Why, I can still remember the first time I saw her. It was during her baptism. The only reason I was there was to accompany Hannah, who was to be named godmother. She was such a tiny thing, not even a year old, and swaddled in her mother's arms and white cloth. It was the first time I really saw an infant up close enough to hold one at least. It had been terrifying to be given a little child to carry after a whole water ceremony. I've never done so before that, to hold a tiny life in my arms. I could have just dropped her on her head and this little tyke before me would have stopped existing then and there. But the child just smiled at me, babbling nonsensical words as children do, and clinging to me even as I tried to hand her off to Hannah. She had thought it hilarious and adorable. My suit had been a mess, and I was nearly an anxious wreck by the time I handed her back to her mother. Yep, yet it was pleasant too. To think I might be doing it again soon, with Hannah's children, with our children, kids of my own flesh and blood. In a few months' time, I'll be cradling them in my arms, hearing the ring of their laughters against my ears. It's a tender thing to think about, and despite myself, in spite of all the fears that will never be good enough for them, I'm actually looking forward to it.
Of course I didn't, you little rugrat. I just had to take care of something before you arrived.
Really? Well, I guess that's fine. As long as you told me for work like last time.
Really? Now why don't we go back down and have breakfast in the parlor?
I already ate at home. Papa made one of his tortillas de patatas. He wouldn't let me leave until I finished every bite.
The Suarez's infamous tortilla de patatas. Those things are a hazard. You can probably use one to bludgeon someone into submission with how huge they are. It's a miracle Kylie can be so energetic. I had trouble staying awake the first time I had one. Speaking of staying awake,
Well, I need some coffee in me at the very least. But if you'd like, you can jump straight to dessert.
Yes, dessert, please.
oh yum. Oh, I could really go for some fudge or some chocolate pudding or something, or mousse, chocolate mousse. Ooh. It's easy enough to manage Kylie with the promise of sweets, thankfully. The hard part is managing her before she gets to the sweets, because I nearly have a heart attack when the kid races down the stairs. Just the thought of her slipping and breaking her neck is enough to make me rush down after her.
Slow down, the food isn't going anywhere.
The food is going somewhere. In my tummy.
Jesus fucking Christ. Children.
With a shake of my head, I usher Kylie towards the parlor and order a maid to bring food for us. Whatever breakfast there is, along with a cup of coffee for me and an ice cream for Kylie. But I can't leave the kid alone for too long unless I want to let her turn the other room into a slaughter ground. True to my expectations, I've only left Kylie alone for a few minutes, but she's already made herself comfortable. The stuff from her backpack has been left scattered across the room, from coloring books and crayons to toys. She's well equipped to amuse herself with no trouble, though I can certainly breathe a little easier if she won't bring her doll along every time she visits. Narcissa, or Cisa, is a creepy little bugger. It doesn't help when Kylie left her during one. Finding the thing at the bottom of the stairs, staring up at me at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning is a memory that won't be leaving me anytime soon. Even now, it stares at me from where it's seated. I'm wholly tempted to just throw the thing into a fireplace and banish it from whence it came. I can buy her a prettier doll, a better toy. I'll break it, find a way to get rid of it if it wasn't from Hannah, and if only Kylie isn't so attached to it. The thing is some antique doll she found for the brat's 6th birthday, one of a kind. My darling Hannah loves her so, and Kylie does try to be a good goddaughter, but she just can't keep her interest long with the wife. It's not something that Hannah does wrong on her part. She does try so very, very hard. It's just that she doesn't quite know how to really handle children. She's never been around other children when she was young, surrounded by protective adults who catered to her every whim and worried for her safety every minute. When she isn't able to keep up with Kylie, her first instinct is to be strict. Impose rules on the child, treat her as if she is made of spun glass, like every movement might break her. I, at least, have some idea from being around street kids. I know the games they've played and how they think. I know that scrapes and skin knees are all part of childhood. Even with how I grew up, I had time to be a child and not some sheltered heiress. With Kylie, as behaved as she can be with her toys and her books and art, she has to use up all her energy somehow, to run around the playground and make a mess in the mud, or to even just fake wrestle for a short while. Let her be a child when she wants, I'll say. If it becomes too much, I'll just bribe her with sweets or ship her back to her papa. Problem solved. Unfortunately, Hannah isn't quite up for those sorts of things most of the time, thinking it'll spoil the child. It turns a whole playdate awkward every time. Taking the last seat left, I pluck one of her colouring books from the table to see it filled with dinosaurs. Not exactly what I expect to see for a little girl, but it doesn't hurt anyone. If she wants to play with dolls and cars, or dolls with their cars, what do I care? She once put a doll's tutus on model cars even.
Oh, this is a new one. The last one you had was filled with horses, wasn't it?
Those were ponies, Tio. They're much cuter than horses. But we went to a dinosaur zoo, and it was awesome! Dinosaurs are my favorite.
I have no idea what that is, but it must be something. I'm only familiar with the T-Rex myself.
Yeah, they found, fossils of its claws. They're really long. They think the whole theory might be a bazillion meters tall, even bigger than a T-Rex. Cisa says it'll be big enough to eat all of my classmates.
She only laughs as I scrunch up my nose and grimace.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
Taka who?
Takako, a friend I made.
Oh? I have to stop and look around, expecting one of the help to be there. The child does have a way of befriending just about anyone as long as she puts her mind to it, yet the two of us are completely alone. So Takako's an imaginary friend. What about the other one? Was she also an imaginary friend? Thankfully, she only finds my disturbed look as another funny grown-up expression. That might be a lot more problematic than whether she plays with dolls or cars though. Both the thoughts of Caesar giving Kylie ideas and one of said ideas being massacred by a dinosaur. Something I probably need to bring up with a father aside from work. But beyond murderous dinosaurs, creepy dolls and imaginary friends, I find no trouble with Kylie. She's as energetic and precious as any tyke her age can be. She's an angel if she can get comfy and settle in after getting her sweets. Oh, that looks beautiful. That's really nice. Waffles, ice cream, strawberry and blueberries. We tuck into our waffles as soon as food is brought in. Our waffles, because she wanted her own plate to go with the ice cream as soon as she saw mine. A fresh plate of berries is brought in as well, which really goes great with the rest of this feast, as Kylie puts it. And if I indulge in the sweetness, I have a cup of black coffee to pair it off with. With our bellies full, Kylie grows content with just scribbling on a scrap of paper and calmly chatting about her week. She talks of her older brother Rowan and their parents, how they plan to go to the Bloxland in Berkshire for the winter holidays. She mentions Miss Pink, Rebecca, which I listened to with half an ear. Our initial meeting had been a mess. So they've already met. But I can't quite find myself to listen to stories about her teacher wholeheartedly, the phantom sting in my hand still inching. She talks of the sad man in the park, that's Zach, and of her new friend who likes to play hide and seek when she's not sniffing in the loo. Oh wait, is that the ghost that Rebecca was after in the toilet? Was it a ghost or was it an actual friend? I don't know. Is Takako a ghost as well? When finally she finds nothing new to talk about, she goes back to her drawings. That'll change as soon as her stomach settles, of course, the calm before the storm. Because behaved as she is right now, I can feel the curiosity just radiating off her. There's a restlessness buzzing under her skin, and a question on the tip of her tongue, as they often are with children her age. But for now, I can take this piece with no complaint for however long it stays. I have fun with the crayons as well, at the child's insistence, even if I can't really draw. With Kylie using the black crayon, that leaves me with the blue one. I absent-mindedly start to draw Puppy to the best of my abilities. It's as I attempt to give the doodle dogs another eye that Kylie breaks the silence.
Where did Tia go? I saw them leave when I got here. Tia didn't look so good.
I've been expecting a lot of different questions. The kid always has a whole bunch of them ready for me, but I can only sigh when she posed this particular one.
She's just going to the doctor's for a checkup.
And as kids go, there are follow-up questions.
You didn't go with her?
Well, you were going to be here, sweetie, so I had to stay behind.
So she's all alone? At the hospital?
Oh, no, of course not. Tia has Johans and her maid and a guard. She's got plenty of company.
Yeah, but you're not with her.
If I didn't know better, I'd say the kid is trying to make me feel guilty. I want to say that the little tyke is evil for making me feel so.
But I understand. When I get sick, Papa and Mama have to leave me with their maids, too.
Oh, they don't take care of you?
That doesn't sound right. Even my mum took care of me when I was sick as a child.
Well, they're always busy with work.
Oh, I see. I guess that's no good.
I know she doesn't mean to accuse me of anything, but as a father's boss, maybe I do overwork Suarez a bit. There's a lot of responsibilities that only he is capable of carrying out. Delegation is a thing, sure, but when said responsibilities are legally questionable, at best, putting others to the task isn't always an option. Ah, I see. So that's why Suarez can actually leave his own kid with him, because he's doing Luke like a massive kind of favor that only he can do, or at least trust with. But
maybe your papa is in need of some vacation time. He deserves it, doesn't he? He's a hard worker. I could arrange something for the holidays.
I could cut him some slack. Some of his assignments can wait. I can't do much for her mum. She isn't one of my employees, but this would have to suffice. It will be worth it it makes the little girl happy, because just like that, the somber look on her face turns into one of pure joy. It's like looking at a little sun, warm and bright. It's nice to do something kind every now and then.
Really, Teal?
Would you like that?
I'd like that very much, yeah. We can go to this museum. There's one with lots of cool trains and planes. I like trains. And there's the local Mirror theme park and a monkey forest. There's a kid adventure farm too, the wacky warehouse, and a play barn as well. And
Whoa, slow down there, Munchkin. I know you're excited, but I think you should let me schedule your dad's day off before you plan a whole year's worth of stuff.
There's an embarrassed giggle, but she does reel herself in enough to calm down, which is a feat in and of itself. It's obvious how giddy she is. And if she wasn't looking forward to the holidays before, like any child should, she does now.
I think Tia would be really happy if you were with her. You could have told me you needed to go to the hospital with her, Teal. I won't be angry.
Aww.
I'd love to be with her, but I wanted to spend time with you, Munchkin. And she told me to stay. Besides, I don't like hospitals. They always smell like alcohol. Not the good kind either.
I don't think anybody likes hospitals. They're scary. But you said Tia is brave and strong.
That she is.
A content silence comes over us as we go back to scribbling. Though I stop when I'm done with my blue dog, cringing at how awful it looks. Kylie reprimands me for that because I should be like her. The little tyke goes through several sheets of paper, one drawing after another. Practicing, she says, because practice makes perfect. Not to mention there's a drawing contest coming up in class, and she just has to beat Tim from Class D, who says girls can't be superheroes. The clay gets a turn too, where we start sculpting food and pretending we're Michelin chefs. When we're too tired from tossing pizza and making cakes, there's no trouble in finding another activity more relaxing for the both of us. I find myself invested in reading The Picture of Dorian Gray once more. Often I lose myself in the pages of the book. However, it is rather difficult to do so when I'm also trying to keep an eye and ear out for Kylie. I've been reading the same paragraph over and over again even. Inexplicably, I can feel my skin crawl when the girl sits with Narcissa by the parlor fireplace humming, singing, though I ignore it long enough to hear only the tail end of the song.
Everything is up in flames.
Oh my god.
Up in flames, up in flames. Everything is up in flames, my fair lady.
Oh no, not the second verse. I don't think I can spend any more time with Kylie considering how high-strung I feel, so it is a good thing that Suarez came for her as soon as I've called. Though it is earlier than the agreed upon time, he voices no complaint. The bastard even has a look of relief as soon as they left. Or at least I interpret it as such from where I've stood by one of the windows, not bothering to step out and greet the man. No doubt he still doesn't trust me around his spawn. Well, he has every right to be suspicious of me. I am a dangerous man after all. But to my chagrin, that leaves me with the rest of the day with nothing to do. Well, aside from picking up the mess Kylie left scattered about in the parlor, to my immense relief, she remembered to take a doll home with her this time. But the same cannot be said of the crayons and papers littered here and there. First things first, I snatch my own doodle off the table and rip it to shreds, leaving no hope that it will see the light of day. The rest of the drawings, all Kylie's, remain unharmed as I collect a lot. Though they have been stacked neatly on the table before, they must be blown about when I saw Kylie off. And there are plenty of them. From cats and cakes to colourful rainbows and gardens, the child managed to make a lot of during her morning here. There is one more that I have yet to fish out of the fireplace where it landed. Expecting to see another one of Kylie's masterpiece, I am instead greeted with something a bit more concerning. Oh, it is Takako! Oh no! Fuck! There is me, and there is Kylie, the two of us side by side smiling as our stick figure selves stand in a nondescript field. Oh no, it's Takako. That much I can ascertain without looking at the labels below the doodle's feet. Oh, black hair, she must be Japanese. But a third figure stands next to me in the drawing. A woman with her face hidden behind a curtain of black. Takako. The writing under her supplies.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
Oh no.
Taka who?
Takako,
The hairs on my back of my neck stand on end, and I feel a chill go down my spine. A breath that isn't mine. That has me turning around, expecting, hoping to see someone, anyone, but nothing. And that's when I hear it. Laughter, sweet and merry laughter ringing from the ballroom. Oh man, Takako must love that picture. Thinking about it has my cheeks burning and my blood running hot. It's as if I'm being mocked. As I stomp towards the door, I have to stop myself from shouting up a storm. I expect to see some of the help daddling about, idle from the duties. Perhaps they thought that they can slack off their duties without the head butler around, and with my preoccupation with Kylie. Well, they had another thing coming. But again, nothing. Nothing from what I can see with a cursory glance. At the very least, I roam around looking for near impossible hiding places, and still I am all alone. Yet I can still hear the laughter, that accursed laughter, echoing about in the room, in my head.
Who's there? Show yourselves and show some respect to the master of the house.
Cold uneasiness settles into my stomach when no one answers. I stumble on my own 2 feet, feeling a wave of nausea come from nowhere. I have to put a hand against the wall to stay upright when the world shifts and a pain explodes from behind my eyes. It takes every ounce of my self-control not to heave then and there. The only thing my pride allowed me to do then is close my eyes and attempt to alleviate some of the pain. Vague, unfamiliar images, dare I say memories, not mine, flash in my head, unbidden and unwelcome. Like a strong hammer strike to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. Whatever emotions they hold are muted. I'm nothing but a spectator. Still, its weight feels palpable. Though it doesn't take long for these sensations to get into my head, through my eyes and my ears, it creeps and buzzes in the spaces between. One after the other, they come at me, an unending flood that threatens to sweep me away for what feels like an eternity. Each one a show of both joy and suffering for those who have called this mansion their home. Each new scene is like a hammer to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. I can feel every little emotion in the blurry images that present itself in my head. I feel a part of these, like I've lived through them, though I know that is not possible. Reincarnation? All their anger burns through me, that much is evident, but the pain more so. And above all of it are the whispers, the voices calling, luring until one image emerges in livid contrast with the others. When there's a shout of joy, my eyes snap open, looking for the culprit. That's when the whole room just changes. Everything is the same, yet everything isn't. There are people everywhere laughing and dancing. I should be concerned about them, but my mind finds it easy to dismiss them as they fade in and out from nothingness. Oh, wow. Instead, I find my concentration drawn to a man and a woman, though one can only call them a lord and lady going by their clothes. And oh, I just see how happy the couple looks. Though the man's eyes are eerily blank, like he's not all there. His face is familiar though, in fact they both are, but I can't quite place why. The two make for a pretty picture as they dance in the center of the ballroom. Even the phantom crowd's attention stay on them. It reminds me so much of Hannah and I during the early days of our marriage, the honeymoon years they call it. We were happy then too, all smiles and her sunshine, even with the normal dreary weather. Younger, we had less to worry about, or at least thought that way. I wished we could go on that way, even with all that I did and had to do. But life has a way of catching up. There was work to be done. Although we had to stay the loving perfect couple in public, I could not afford to look so weak, to appear tied down to someone else, to those who knew who I really am. I had to harden my heart when I have business, but it hadn't always been so easy to just switch that part of me on and off. I should be concerned about their intrusion too. Ask what in the bloody hell are they doing in my house, throwing a party as if they owned the place. Ask myself how the fuck I didn't notice what was going on before when the parlor and the foyer are both only a few doors away. But I have the feeling that yelling and screaming at them won't do much of anything anyway. None of the others have given me notice. What is he holding here? I realize that this might not even be real. It dawns on me that these two are the people from the paintings, the ones all over the mansion. Which makes sense. I don't think I'm imaginative enough to make all of this up on my own. This must be a dream, or a really horrible high. Just then, I can feel eyes on me as I contemplate the absurdity of the situation, yet I feel difficulty in trying to tear my eyes away from the two dancing. I manage, and I regret looking away. Oh no, Takako! The woman from the gardens stand beside me. I can hear her rattling breath, menacing and chilling. Everything in me screams to run, but something pins me to the spot as she just looks at me, watching and waiting. The clamour of their voices fill the ballroom. Although they say such welcoming words, I do not feel comforted by the madness I'm experiencing. The joyous voices turn sinister and foreboding to my ears. The chorus of people that shouldn't exist, threaten to overwhelm me, drown me even as I stand on dry land. The music still plays as the Phantom Quartet continues while I stand here, vulnerable and afraid, but the dance has already ended. And I'm afraid that I might just be tonight's entertainment. Attention is all well and good until bollocks like this go down. Oh man, fucking cheese it, Luke. These phantom people watch me, thousands of eyes scrutinizing though they cheer for my return, cajole me to dance and join in merriment. Don't do it! There are eager hands all over pulling me in every direction, but they do not move me enough to remove me from the woman's gaze.
Can you not hear them as they welcome you home? Your kind, our kind. For one of us, my love, we are bonded by the blood we share.
If I thought the voices were overwhelming before, it is nothing compared to how they are now. The voices are loud, speaking in unison and echoing ever on the spaces of my head. They welcome me back as if I've always belonged, as if I was meant to be here in the first place. They call me all these titles and names that do not belong to me, and that man's face, the one with the empty eyes, flashes again before me, once fleetingly, like a new memory having burned itself in my mind. I have to struggle for air when I come back to myself after.
This isn't...
The welcome turns into screams at my protest, pained and desperate pleas for my help, telling me that it is my duty to stay, telling me that I belonged among them, to them. Gentle touches turn near threatening, the warning scratches and the baring of teeth by predators before they truly maim someone. My mouth goes dry as I struggle to speak some sense into this hallucinatory madness, but I don't get the chance as they drown out my voice.
Our Lord, my Prince.
At her words, there is a compulsion to stay. Though my heart races in my chest, the fear I should be experiencing refuses to register in my head. One thing, Kylie knows about this ghost, right? That's why she could even draw it down and even know its name, meaning that she must have at least had some exchange with this Takako. But she hasn't even read the letter, so how could she see this Takako? Or can she just make herself known? And why would the ghost confide her name to Kylie? Mind and body war with each other, nearly tearing me in two. The compulsion to walk into her arms is strong, whispers in my head to tell me to go to her. They say that she's safety, she's home and heart. But repulsed at these thoughts, I wrench away and turn with a small gasp. Without hesitation, I start to make a run for it. I nearly falter when an angry shriek pierces the air, inhumane and monstrous. I don't dare look back, I just run. I didn't care if this is a drug-induced hallucination or not. Just run. Out of the ballroom. And out of the parlor. Man, this is one thing. Like, with Isabella, and everyone else in a party, they're all friends, they can talk to each other, while Luke doesn't really have anyone, apart from Johannes and Hannah. And, yeah. It's only then that I bothered to look back, hoping and praying to the gods I sworn that it did not pursue me. I would have run all the way out of the mansion too, if only someone didn't get in my way. I collide with a body much larger than mine and fall to the ground, head spinning as I look up at the stained glass. Turning my head to the side places the colourful sight with a pair of shiny black shoes. Fatigue fills every inch of my being then, making me refuse to get up. Meanwhile, a familiar head of ginger hair looks down at me in bemusement. It's Johannes.
You really must look where you're going if you insist on running about. Do tell, where is the fire?
Ah, thank God you're here.
I do hope you don't have a concussion. Can you count backwards from 15 to 1 for me?
Oh, fuck off, you wanker. Just help me up.
I do not think insulting me if you do have a concussion is a smart decision. But no, really. 15 to 1.
That woman, she was here. I told you to keep an eye out for her.
The other man offers an arm and pulls me up to my feet then, but before I can storm off and pull him to the ballroom, he anchors me down with one hand on my shoulder and the other touching the back of my head.
Bruising or bump, that still does not mean that you don't have a concussion. If you are too lazy to count backwards, can you tell me your full name? Where are you currently?
We don't have Lucille Mitchell Wright, and this is the Ermengarde bloody fucking foyer.
Right.
But we don't have time for this.
You must make and have the time to make sure you are not broken in the head. I have already sent security to scour the whole house when I saw you running out of the parlor, Dummkopf. If the woman is here, they will have her. You will only be slowing them down if you plan to interfere.
When he points that out, I realize that there are guards starting to filter into the house as we speak, with some already searching the nearby rooms. Armed and uniformed men go in pairs, making it so that the house is in a flurry of activity. He lets go of me with the knowledge that I'm not going to keel over anytime soon.
I was hoping that you would be tired from dealing with the young miss on my return. Instead, you come running and hit your head. Such a troublesome boy. Shall I be carrying you to bed, too?
I can manage just fine on my own. Though I don't see how I can sleep until that woman is caught.
It'll be easier to keep you safe in your quarters. This is twice we've known the woman to break in. I think we can safely presume that you hold her interest.
Don't you guys have cameras or something like that anywhere? He says it is a matter of fact in a tone that brook no argument, not like I'll argue if it means I'm kept safe. The two of us hurry upstairs, though we remain watchful and wary of any potential threats to my person. We make it to the master bedroom without any trouble though, and two of the security are left outside the door. This is why when Ash broke in that there was such a high security, because Luke was attacked by the ghost, and they're like, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And why Johann suddenly attacked Ash as well. No problems at all. Not until we get inside. Johann's eyes scan the room wildly, a look of dread on his usually stoic face, and I don't understand for a moment. Looking around the bedroom, it's empty, but then I realize...
She came home with you from the hospital, didn't she?
She's supposed to be here. I sent one of the maids to accompany her here, to let her rest.
Oh no. I feel the color drain from my face when I raise a hand to stop me from charging out there.
Stay.
I'm not staying in here while Hana stays out there.
One of the guards will find her and bring her here.
And what if they don't? What if that woman gets to her first? What if she already has her?
That's not possible.
You can't promise that.
There's no second thought as I reach under my side of the bed and pull out one of my knives. I have no doubt that the other man can take me on if we are both unarmed. But with this I can even the field, or at least deter him from escalating the situation and risking hurting either of us.
I'm going out there to look for Hana, and you're either with me or you aren't. I'm not risking Hana, and I'm not leaving her alone.
Still, like a stubborn mule, he refuses to budge from the door. There's a withering look on him that I try to match. One that somehow I am losing fast to, even with him not saying a word yet.
Can you see yourself in the mirror right now? You are in no proper state to go looking for anyone. If it will make you happy, I will do the looking. But please, and don't make me repeat this, stay where it's safe, where security can find you. We already have one person to be worried about. Please don't add another one to it.
Perhaps it is his tone. In spite of his general disdain for virtually everything that has to do with me, I'd like to think that over the years he has grown to care for Hana at least. Much as I loathe to admit it, I trust him with her safety over any servant in this house. So, an acquiesce.
You have 2 hours, Shirokin. I don't think it'll take that long to find one missing woman in this house. 2 hours. Any more than that, and I'm going out there.
Of course.
Despite his words, he lingers if I didn't know any better. I'd say he wants to make sure I get in the damn bed and sleep before he turns away from me. What am I, a child? Watching me and treating me like one? Yeah, I wonder where Hannah's spirited off to. Like, which part of the house? Or maybe another dimension? There's a reason why we will never get along.
Well, what are you waiting for?
And the knife?
the knife stays.
Very well.
Only then does he seem to get the hint. With a nod, he leaves, locks and closes the door behind him. For a moment, I still hear his voice while he gives the guards outside firm instructions, then a hush as soon as he departs and his footsteps fade away. One that doesn't quite last. As quickly as the silence settles, lightning flashes across the sky, followed immediately by the loud boom of thunder. And that wanker strikes so dangerously close that I can feel the electricity in the air. The power goes out not a second later, and I feel as if I'm being mocked by whatever greater power there is. All is deathly still for a moment, but soon the rain starts once again. Far heavier than the light drizzle from this morning, its pitter-patter hitting hard against this place's roof. Despite the noise, I find myself drawn to my bed, exhausted, hoping for a little nap. I'm safe here. Hannah will be safe too. Shrocken will find her, and when I wake, she'll be here. It does not take long. Once my head hits the pillow, in a matter of minutes, darkness claims me, bringing with it laughters and whispers of a twisted love from a long time ago. Time long ago.
Who are you? Stay away!
Whoa, what?
Sweet dreams, my love. It'll be over soon.
Whoa. Oh. Oh man, let's hear that. Let's hear that again.
Sweet dreams, my love. It'll be over soon.
Oh, that's creepy as hell. Well, let me just have a quick sip. Yet, in spite of the unfamiliar voices and unwanted touches from the shadows lurking in the dark, rousing is a slow, arduous process. Difficult, every limb heavy with lead, no matter my aversion for the words they murmur. In my ears, or the sight of her horrid smile from afar, my body refuses to yield. I am at their mercy. Beyond fathomable reason, my consciousness refuses the pull of the waking world, choosing to linger in the pits of a dream, gradually drawing me deeper into unknown depths. Somehow, even if it might mean I may never open my eyes, I allow them. Not that I mind getting a few extra hours, of course. The bed's more than comfortable as it is after an exhausting day yesterday. I know that feeling, like I don't want to get out of like a really nice warm bed, but if I heard that shit, I'd cheese it. Babysitting Kylie and the stress of finding an intruder in my own home. I think I deserve a little break every once in a while, especially after going through all that in a single day. I can only be on the receiving end of so many unacceptable things within the span of a few hours, you know? As gracious a host and person I am, my patience has its limits too. Although, there's still that problem with Hannah. I haven't forgotten that, of course, but that's why I hired Shrocken. He's competent enough, he won't even last a day in my service if he's any lesser than those half-wits who think they can deceive me with sweet words. He's more than capable of working on his own without guidance. Let the butler take care of that little problem with Hannah while I... Hannah. Oh no, Takako. Takako and who?
This is where your home is.
Nope. The fuck?
Come back to us.
How long has it been since? Johans has never taken this long before.
Surely there should have been an update by now. Alright?
Oh, Johans been tasered by Isabella. So why isn't there...
Please don't go.
Bloody hell, the cretins I've surrounded myself with.
And isn't that enough reason to force myself out of bed? Yeah, as it has always been the case. My eyes fly open, expecting the warm rays of sunshine filtering through the curtains, only to be greeted by a blind flash of light and a loud boom of thunder that sounded nearly too close to my ears. Strong gusts of wind will occasionally burst in from the open balcony door, bringing in drizzles of cold rain into the room. Why don't you shut the window? Especially if you think there's an intruder. I must have left it open earlier before dozing off. The carpet and the floor closest to it is already drenched. Ew.
Hannah's going to be so cross once she sees this. Not that it's an immediate problem. If anything, it's this power outage we should be mining first. With the intruder still at large, steering through this darkness might be far more fatal than multiple stab wounds or a gunshot to the chest.
Oh, great. The power's still out. That is exactly what I need right now.
Oh,
Yes.
man. It's this storm, of course. I should have moved back to the penthouse to weather it a much more comfortable setting. To weather it in a much more comfortable... Okay. Already I can hear the creak and groans of this old place as rain beats against the windows.
Johans! Has someone been sent to check the circuit breaker yet?
No answer.
Johans?
Silence.
Shrokin! Someone! Anyone?
Still nothing, and my cordial mood is quickly dissipating.
Where are those idiots when you need them?
Has it been moved to another dimension or something where the guards aren't there? It's really a wonder why he hasn't fixed this yet. Was I really out that long? Can't be. Or maybe the guards are all dead? It has only been a few hours after midnight if the time on my wristwatch is anything to go by. Unless I've forgotten to change it again after that last overseas trip a month ago. Though the delay is understandable, if he went looking for Hannah as he promised. But bloody hell, my safety's also at stake here. Cursing, I stay still, letting my eyes try and adjust to the darkness while my hands fumble for my slippers. If that butler isn't going to fix this, I might as well order the security poster outside to do it. It's probably just a blown fuse. Anyone with a brain can repair one. Grabbing my jacket and with footwear finally on, I make for the door. Although in haste, I pause briefly when a gleam catches my eye. One of my drawers underneath the clutter I've yet to organize, the muzzle of a gun peeks out. Hannah has never openly commented my possession of it, but I know she does not approve of it, knowing the bloody firearms policy in this nation. Of course, yeah, what is the policy in the UK? I've not found much use for it in the 7 years we've been together, otherwise she would have already had it thrown out years ago. Doesn't mean it won't be useful right now. Without second thought, I seize it, sending the stuff piled above it onto the floor. Whatever. I'll get to it later. This blackout problem should be resolved first. Right next to my missing security detail, as it turns out.
Where the fuck did everyone go?
Right? There were two, weren't there? Shrokin said... Shrokin had two blokes posted to stand guard for the night. I might be panicking for a bit earlier, but I'm quite sure I haven't gotten delusional yet. What? Did both of them decide to take a break because they think the master's already sound asleep and won't be looking for them?
Nitwits.
I know assassinations happen very rarely these days, and even less in a peaceful city like Luxman, but bollocks. There's been a woman going in and out of this place uninvited, who may or may not want to put a knife in my back. Isn't that enough reason to stay on alert? I'm fairly certain Shrokin won't just enlist their help just for this power outage, only to leave me unprotected. We have a difficult friendship, so to speak, but I doubt that man is an opportunist. I'm holding the lives of his family in my hands, after all. He knows what I'm capable of. He's not stupid enough to do anything that'll endanger them and save only himself. So where then? Only my footsteps echo along the dark passage, and I am left gripping the handle of my pistol for some sort of comfort. Without proper lighting, and with this storm still raging outside, the stories I've heard about this place seem to have some truth to it. Some. If I'm reaching and wish to entertain myself for a bit, I'll say there might also be ghosts whispering in my ears, calling. Of course, it's just the wind and the trees rustling outside. Nothing good will come of allowing these thoughts to linger when problems are piling up in front of me one after another, especially with what greets me once I get to the foyer. Though it's dark, the large windows illuminate the area much more easily than any of the other rooms. And from where I stand at the top of the stairs, I can easily make out their forms, recognize them even. Oh, and that's when he's like, oh, these intruders. It's all gone crazy when these intruders, yeah, see, come into my house. I'm no stranger to a cop playing dirty. The smart ones knew that neither life nor criminals are going to play fair. And if one of this wog's sort is on this, I'm not surprised too. What does that mean? But Lily, the estate agent, she doesn't seem the sort. And Daisy too? What will Carly think of Miss Pink if the poor tyke finds out about this? Not to mention Mint. Hannah trusted her. I trusted her to be a professional, at the very least, for fuck's sake. To top it all off, they all have the nerve to look surprised when I announce my presence.
Well, what have we here? If I were any less sober, I'd say this is the beginning of a joke.
Bloody trespassers. What is wrong with these people? Yeah, because he wasn't there when the ghost was teleporting them all over the house. Did they really think I'll be fine with them walking into my house like this? In my home like this? What are they even doing here? If I didn't know any better, they might also be behind Hannah's disappearance. Ah.
That's right, my love.
They must have a motive. Oh, she's controlling them. And it better be a good one. Or a bullet to the head is the least all of them will deserve.
Let's see. A photographer, a high school teacher, a real estate agent, an interior designer walk into a mansion.
Thunder crackles once again, cutting me off. This time, its sound hit close enough that it nearly feels as if the windows and the ground itself are rumbling. All is deathly still for a moment. I don't let it stop me, however, as I slowly make my way towards them, taking one careful step at a time, relishing the expression of fear in the eyes. I suppose there's something ominous in this setting with the heavy rain outside and the lack of light here. I kinda like it, to be honest. Add something to the atmosphere. I suppose I must look like the villain now. Yeah, I mean, that is your character. But short of me getting close to them, a noise to my left distracts me, briefly halting my movements while curiosity takes over every murmurs in my head. And it's a good thing, perhaps, that I did, because as soon as I look up, I see him. Another trespasser, great. Just as he's about to jump down from furniture that has somehow ended up piled and blocking the door to the parlor. What happened there? And did he really think it's alright to do that in other people's house? Lout. My hands already moving before any rationale can stop me, fingers firm at my gun when I finally release the safety from it and take aim. Not at him, but at his friends. They are his, aren't they? Why else would they be here together? Doesn't matter. He won't let the people he cares about be harmed. My finger on the trigger is more than itching to shoot, but I hold back. Sure, I could have simply taken aim at him, but more than seeing him bleed, I want to see the expression on his face once he realizes everything he's doing is futile. He's trapped. Lives are in my hand. His life's in my hand.
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two. People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
I understand why he's saying all this now. And of course, it's a proper response as well, I guess. I can tell the exact moment the realization dawns on him. A short second of his body freezing and blood draining from his face as soon as his feet hit the floor as he looks up. He's already a prey trapped by his own recklessness.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about little Lily over there, then? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is? Oh, we're doing good, by the way.
Sir, please.
Oh, please what?
Becca's right, sir. We need to get out of this place. You need to leave.
Tut, not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for the rest of you. But really now, I swear the people of this city need to be taught the meaning of privacy. This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
It's just a passing remark, of course. I'm not stupid enough to do something that'll bring negative attention to myself. Reputation and all that, I can't just risk it. The thought of having dead bodies here, ones that I'm not even responsible for, they're the ones who trespassed. It's already quite too much. It'll literally be overkill, especially for someone like me. Let me just have a quick check on that journal. It's November 1st, right? Is it? Oh wait, there's the next button. Where is it? I want to see what his one says. After a long blah blah blah, and exit. Oh wait, no, this is Ash's one. Oh. Luke woke up in a storm raging outside. Okay. Nevertheless, joke or not, Feathers wastes no time drawing his own gun at the slight wave of my own, even if he knows it's already too late. Still, he glares at me. Still, he fights back.
Now, Feathers, manners. You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
There's no desperation in him like I'm hoping, just an annoyance flickering shortly before being hidden underneath a challenge. The likes of him are the kind of people I hate the most. Even with their failures already glaring down at them, mocking every worthless move they make, they have the impudence to stare people in the eye.
You put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall. You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Annoying most of the time, like a damn pest you can't be rid of. But to some degree it is commendable. I'll give him that. After all, we're almost the same in that regard. Almost. I'm still the better person, of course. In chapter 6, Ashen was saying the same thing as well, right? He was saying like how they might have been friends or something. He tells me to put the gun down, but I see no reason why I should. I'm a homeowner in defense of my own home. I have the right to, I'd like to think. Questionable permit of firearms aside, it's not like I wanted this, but I'm already high-strung and the presence does not help. That's true. Bloody peasants. I can never seem to figure how their minds fully work. Take this one for example. Despite the pride brimming in him, how he matches my glare with one of his own, he simply lowers his pistol after a long second. Not in surrender. The tense set in his shoulders tell me as much, but the closest he can get to lowering his own ego in favor of something I can't quite place. Interesting. Gotta admit, I'm almost disappointed. I've expected him to hold until one of us shoots the other. Can't say it'll be more exciting that way. A bullet inside any part of my body isn't something I'd like to have on a bad day like today, or any day for that matter. But it'll surely be predictable of him, and I like predictable. They're the kinds of people who are the easiest to deal with, no matter the situation. With them, there's no second guessing what they'll do. He shoots, I shoot. One of us dies, the other walks away. Nothing complicated. Nothing requiring much brain power, just muscle memory and who's the better shooter. End of the story. End of story. Yet here he is, dragging a deep breath in and setting aside the only thing protecting him. I can easily shoot him this way, be done with this whole farce of a conversation. Instead, I find myself listening. A concession for a person who in another life would have also become the person I am today, had his circumstances allowed it. Yeah, that's exactly what it said in chapter 5 as well. Damn shame. We might have gotten along.
Listen, right, I need you to...
But alas...
You broke into my house, and somehow, you expect me to listen like a good little boy. Are you a bit touched in the head, Feathers? I'm not the one breaking laws here.
Look here, fucker. If I wanted you dead, I could have done it so many times already. In fact, I can easily shoot you down right here, right now. And you won't be able to do a damn thing, even with that gun.
A meeting of two prideful blokes will never go well, whichever lifetime it is. And I can only laugh at his audacity, his lack of shame and fear, even facing the business end of my pistol.
You know what I'm thinking right now? In another lifetime, we would have probably gotten along well.
The best truth I can offer him. Not many people, those who have slighted me in particular, live this long to see it. Yes, especially when he has a lot to answer. Preferably right now, because as generous as I have been so far, my patience has its limits. My amusement can only last for so long. In 2 steps, I'm standing in front of him, grabbing him by the collar and resting the cold muzzle of the eagle against his temple.
Luke, no!
Hey, now you two, I'm sure we can all talk about this first.
He'll end up a pretty smear on the wall this close.
What is it that you people really want with me? This is the 2nd time this week, and I'm really getting weary of this little game. Did the NCA send you to apprehend me? Or has somebody paid you off to kill me? Which one is it, Feathers? Mind you, my arm's getting tired. Better answer quick if you don't want to meet the business end of this gun.
And he knows it. Of course he does. Hitman or not, he has been trained, judging purely from his stance. But not many bother to be as cautious as him. One glimpse at my handgun safety earlier is all it took for him to see I mean business. Similar. Too similar. We're too alike in so many little ways it's funny. Down to fact that he doesn't even flinch, no matter how heavy the threats in my words are. Even knowing how to flick off my finger on the trigger. Even knowing how to flick how one flick of my finger on the trigger will be enough to end his sorry life. He should have caved in by now, started begging like so many others before him. Instead, he throws more vitriol, adds more kindling to a fire already burning.
I'm not with NCA. I'm just here to help. There's something else in this house, and we're all in danger. You have to believe me, right? You need to let us go. You need to get out of here before it's too late. If you want to keep your sorry ass alive, you'll listen to people with more brain cells than you.
Igniting it further that I can't help but return it to him with equal fervor. We don't need... Oh. Is Takako supposed to say this? We don't need him, my love.
Why, you insolent!
We both decide to move in that moment, both our bodies tensing, each of us racing to get ahead of the other. However, before we can even get a head start, a voice unexpectedly rings above the chaos about to ensue.
Luke, help me. Please.
That's where she is the entire time, probably in another dimension away from all the guards and... yeah. I've always been cautious and careful, cutting off Trouble's head before things can escalate if I'm able. That's why I deal with the likes of Harvey, Suarez and Johans. I've always been cautious and careful, cutting off Trouble's head. Cutting off Trouble's head. Trouble's head before things can... Okay, I kind of... yeah, I get the gist of it. For all who we are, for all the enemies the likes of us can make, such a thing has never happened before, because I do everything to make sure it doesn't happen. So to see Hannah in danger, I don't quite know how to feel or what to do. Of all the times for her to be a hostage situation, is this even one? Why now? Good fucking god. What is going on here?
Help me. Please. Please make it stop.
Didn't she just come back from the hospital? Man, wow, this Takako works fast. I think death would be preferable if my sense of self-preservation was shot to high hell. It would deprive me of choice and of responsibility in the matter. And I don't want to think about how fast my heart beats, so that I hardly hear anything other than my own heartbeat and a pleading.
Please, they're in my head. Screaming. It hurts so much.
What do I do? What can one do against someone holding your life in their hands? With a woman that looks more monster than man. When the woman's expression turns into one of amusement and her laughter fills the air, I want to call her out on it. There's a rage simmering just beneath my skin, but my own scream dies down in my throat. All I'm able to muster is a pathetic croak. She laughs as if this is all some sick joke. My breathing comes a bit too shallow for my liking, and I feel like I'm on a precipice where one wrong move can lead to someone dying. This is crazy. All of it.
Luke, help me, please. I can't.
And something in me snaps. There's a switch in my head that wants to go one way or the other. I have to. Keep quiet or demand Hannah's release. Oh gosh. I mean, if we keep quiet, I mean... I guess I'll appease the ghost, but if we demand Hannah's release, that might anger the ghost. But we do need to let her know what we want, right? I have to, yeah, Hannah's release. What am I doing? Why am I even hesitating? Oh, relationship up. Ah. I won't go so far to claim that I'm any sort of decent human being, but this is Hannah, my wife I'm talking about here. What sort of husband, what sort of father would I be if I just stood by idly while she was in danger? That doesn't change the fact that this is all fucking insane, of course. Having all these intruders is crazy. To think about going at this thing is crazy. I can hardly classify it as a person in my eyes. Perhaps a maggot that needs to be crushed under my shoe, just like the rest of this sorry lot. But a person? Hardly. But I care none for any of it. They don't matter. All that matters is that Hannah and my children are in danger. But cold pours over me, freezes me in place once more when I try to make demands. I have to take deep breaths, grip my teeth, and steel my fists to even find the courage to speak up.
Let go of her! Don't hurt her! Whatever it is you want! Just don't you dare hurt her!
And if my voice isn't as firm as I'd like, it doesn't matter. I will beg and plead if I have to. On my knees, bend my fucking proud neck, and maybe even break it just to make sure she's safe. It's not her life alone that is in danger. Our children's lives are on the line, even mine perhaps. Because I don't know what I would do if anything happened to Hannah. I would plead for the woman who will be the mother of my children. The cold stillness is gone from my body, and my very skin feels like it's on fire. And I have to shout, scream at her when Hannah continues to cry out in pain.
What do you want? Money? Is that it? I'll give you however much you want.
Luke, please make it stop. I want it to stop.
Just stop whatever it is you're doing to her. Can't you see she's hurting?
I cannot stand for this.
Let go of her! Now!
I say it with such ridiculous conviction, and of course she won't listen. Why would she? She has the upper hand here. There is no reason for her to do as I ask, but her voice is but a whisper and deathly slow, and I'm hard pressed to hear it over the pounding of my heart in my ears. She speaks, the woman from the gardens and the servant girl from the ballroom, from the hallucination, vision, memories, whatever they are. A hush settles over the room as we listen.
Do you really wish to be with her?
There are no second thoughts.
More than anything, so please, let her go.
Though her expression doesn't change, I have this most awful feeling that it wasn't the answer she was looking for. I can see how the woman's fingers tighten around Hannah's throat. Yeah, they're missing an apostrophe S there. Hearing the hitch in her breath, and I fear that I've made the worst decision in speaking out. Oh no, I didn't think she would listen, yet she does. What? She does? A hand on Hannah's back sends her falling down the stairs. I move to catch her, and that sends us both sprawling at the foot of the stairs. With my back to the ground and her on top of me, the pain doesn't even register in my head. All I can worry about is Hannah and the babies. Well, being as I pull the both of us off the ground and away from the stairs, away from her.
Are you hurt?
It takes much too long for my liking before she speaks. All she's able to do for a moment is whimper in pain, a hand to her throat. And when she does manage to speak, her voice is far too faint, along with the hold she has on my arm. It's terrifying to see her like this, and to think I nearly lost her.
You're fine, Luke. I'm sorry. Just give me a moment.
For a moment, we forget, but
You deserve each other.
just hearing her voice triggers something in Hannah, and she starts to tear up. Her face contorts into one of pain and fear. But I grab her by the shoulders to keep her in place so that she can see me and only me, and so that I can only see her
Look
too.
at me, Hannah. Look, I'm here. You're safe. I won't let her hurt you again. Do you understand? Just breathe.
I don't know exactly what in bloody hell is going on, yet I can't find it in me to care, whoever these people are and whatever they're here for. These are not acceptable conditions for a pregnant woman. For all I know, this is all some dumb charade to get to me. All the times I have seen the woman before, it could have all been an act to get to me, to get under my skin. And to think they dare hurt Hannah? Oh man, I think I'm adopting his mannerisms. I always say Hannah, but I just said Hannah. For all that the fear that I had felt, seeing her touch Hannah, I can only think of her as an actress in grotesque makeup. My hand still shakes, the fear not having quite gone, but anger fills me as I look at the woman, a sneer on my face.
How dare you? I don't care who you are, but how dare you touch Hannah? I want you out of my house, out before I call the police and have you put away for the rest of your miserable life. And that goes for all of you!
I hold my ground, firm and strong with my declaration, but the nerve of her, she just laughs in my face. A terrible, dreadful laugh that makes me feel as if there are ants crawling on my skin and maggots squirming into my eyes.
You're telling me to get out of your house.
You threatened to lock me up.
She laughs and she laughs.
What's so funny? What are you laughing at? None of this is funny!
But she persists, and it almost feels like her voice is in my head.
Oh, no different. No different. You're all the same. You can all suffer together.
And that is when everything turns to complete and utter shite. It's a slow thing, a whisper more than a bang, as the darkness creeps into every corner of the room. Oh man. God, look at that. Everything's fucking bloodied. Oof. The walls shudder and groan. Blood runs from the ceiling, crawls down the walls and stains the floor. It feels as if life itself is being sucked from the house slowly but surely. The beauty of the place is gone, with only the dead, decaying remains of a mansion left in its wake. Man, guys should fucking just run. Just fucking cheese it. I don't have to wonder if it is just the foyer that's become this nightmarish place. I can already hear it. Gone are the growling of thunder and the lashings of rain and the wind against the foyer's high windows. All of it has been replaced by a more grating sound. A cacophony of voices from nowhere and everywhere, echoing throughout the now horrid walls. Voice that neither belongs to us nor the people who live here.
What's going on?
Oh, these are the other souls that are trapped with her? That's why she said we? All throughout the house, shouts of alarm and surprise ring out, a mirror to the horror creeping up in each of us. Who wouldn't be shocked? This is insane. Even Daisy, feisty woman that she is, trembles at the sight of it, clinging desperately to Lily while Steel and Feathers stand protectively in front of the two. Oh wait, Zack is Steel, right? And Feathers is Ash. Brave of them, I have to admit. And Mint is McCullough. Alright, cool. So we have Daisy and hang on, who? Lily. Yep. Though it doesn't necessarily mean they don't feel the same fear as the rest of us, something I don't blame them for. There seems to be no end in sight to this insanity. If anything, this only feels like it's the beginning of the end.
Oh my god, please, somebody, anybody.
Who is that?
Who are you? Stay away.
No. Stay away. Stay away.
Their screams fill the mansion. She laughs all the while, a harsh, agonizing sound that goes on for what feels like forever. Until there is nothing but silence, her horrid smile and pale hands reaching out to me, calling, beckoning, pleading. I'm terrified, I really am, like I should be, yeah. But I have never been one to truly stay afraid. I've long learned that fear will not get me anywhere. Cowering in a corner doesn't keep me safe, and it will not keep me alive. Not like rage does. I've learned to use this burning hate inside of me to survive. There is no difference now.
Stay away from me!
Why do you wish to leave?
This is where you belong, my lord. Remember the blood we share?
What?
This is your home. Don't you remember? You promised to return, to stay.
Together with me, with us, with people no different from you.
What is she talking about, Luke? What does she mean?
What does she mean?
Don't listen to her, she lies. I promise no such thing to anyone.
Did Luke cheat again?
Hannah, you're the one who bought this house. How should I know what she's babbling about? I never even wanted to be here in the first place.
A terrible case of mistaken identity. That must be it. I'm quite sure of it. I don't know this woman, this monster. Why would I say that to someone like her? My entire lifetime, I've only made and kept sincere promises to a mere two people. Hannah Evans, and Eleanor Chandler. His mother. No one else. The rest of those who claim I've promised anything to them can go fuck themselves. Bloody hell, I may enjoy the company of women, but I am not an idiot to start spouting such nonsense to anyone. A line must be drawn, especially if I am to keep myself alive. Yet she still goes on, insists, making me appear a lie in front of these people.
Of course you still
I mean, you kinda are.
You see, my love, nothing has changed. Still no difference, you and I. Just like the rest of us. Just like every single soul in this putrid wreck. We waited for so long. You can hear them, yes. Their pleas, their calls, their invitation. Come, my lord. The house seeks its master.
The monster reaches out again, her hands a gory, abhorrent sight, along with that smile spread across her face. My body's already moving on instinct, stumbling back one step at a time in a desperate bid to be away from her. Anything to put distance between me and this vile creature. No matter what she says, I'm nothing like her. I need to get out of this house. Well, yeah, obviously. Like, I've been saying that the entire chapters, in every single chapter. Out of this country, preferably. Take Hannah with me. We can start a new life out of this dreadful city. Start a family. There's nothing for us here. Her parents are long gone. Nothing to keep us tied to this place. Shrocken has likely been taken by this woman, and he's not what binds me to this wretched city. I only need Hannah. We can leave. We can...
Careful, Luke.
My foot steps on something, sending me sliding on my back and flat on the floor. Beside me, a paper, familiar one, flutters down. Ah, the letter. It's this thing again. From the open house, though it feels like a gimmick and more like a threat. What with recent events? It must have fallen from one of these peasants in the commotion earlier. For a moment they appear conflicted to see it in my hands, but wisely keeps their opinions to themselves, leaving the damn thing to simply bear its grisly message for everyone in the room to see. Help me. Help me. Help me. Is this it? What they've been telling us? Why everything in my life has gone to shite? Because of some stupid old letter? An invitation indeed. One I am not willing to accept. Not any time. From the top of the stairs, this creature moves again, drawing my attention back to her. Her gait remains slow and awkward as she walks forward, that smile never leaving her. But I won't give her the chance. I'm not dying here. I certainly am not giving myself to a hideous creature like her either. Adrenaline kicks in, and desperate panic gasps and worried glances from Daisy's friends. I pay them no mind as I reach for the main door and, without warning, it slams open, revealing not the mansion grounds like I am expecting. Before my mind can even comprehend what's happening, black tendrils, oh god, have already coiled tightly around my limbs, dragging every person into the foyer, into the room. None of us even get to scream when darkness completely envelops us upon the doors closing.
Understand where your place is now, my love. You belong here. Is it so difficult to grasp? We've been waiting.
There's a moment of panic when the feeling of the tendrils around my limbs finally dissipates. As soon as my eyes adjust to the darkness of the room and I'm on my feet, I'm reaching for my knife and holding it out, watching, waiting for every movement, using it as a way to put distance between me and these peasants. Who knows what they'll do now? We're all desperate to get out of this house. There's only 7 of us in this room, 4 of them friends at that. I cannot trust these people not to turn on me. Bloody hell, even Hannah's giving me the same looks as them now. Though Mint has already gone, Loon, crouched in a corner and muttering to herself, you can't really say anyone's safe from her. If anything, she's the one I should watch out for. I cannot trust anyone. Not anymore. Not after this. Despite the pleading looks Lily shoots my way while they all huddle in a corner behind Steel and Feathers, but I have to remind myself that even people like her are capable of doing the unpleasant. She's only human after all. It's never an excuse why even Hannah has her cunning manipulative moments, though she does it much subtler than I. Why else would Lily show this letter to us that day if not to save herself? I guess that backfired on her now that she and her friends are also stuck here. Still, I have every right to be livid. Everything that I've built has fallen apart, all because these people came into our lives.
All of you! This is all your fault! If I've died in this bloody case, I'm taking you all down with me!
Put that knife down, Lucille.
Hey now, Mr. Wright. I know the situation ain't good, but we have to calm down. We're all in the same boat here. You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, for this letter, for all of you, none of this would have happened!
And blaming everyone in this room isn't going to get us out of this place. Please put that knife down, darling. You might hurt yourself.
Are you taking their side? You're also stuck in this nightmare, Buttercup. What about the children? Aren't you the least bit worried about them? That creature is out to get us, and you're still defending these people.
I'm not defending anyone, Luke. I'm just trying to be reasonable when you're clearly not.
Oh, of course you're not. You're just the one who bought this bloody mansion to begin with. If I didn't know any better, you did this on purpose.
Why, no. Why would I ever do that? This was only meant to be an anniversary gift. For you. For us. For the family we're going to have.
Right, anniversary gift. Oh, here's your gift, darling. Oh, by the way, there's a curse included in that package. I hope that's all right. Are you really that eager to get rid of me, Hannah? Because if that's what you've been meaning to do all this time, you might as well just put a knife in my back while I'm...
Suddenly, Hannah steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand. Said knife slides uselessly under the table out of my reach. Before my mind registers what's happening, a sharp blow explodes in the side of my head, sending me reeling backwards. She merely stands... Oh my goodness. She merely stands before me afterwards, without even batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off in this instant. Sometimes I forget.
Don't you dare, Luke. Don't you dare imply I've ever thought of you that way.
That Hannah is never the weak woman I believed her to be. How did I come to think of her as such? She used to be someone I can look up to, isn't she? When you look at her now, the way she stands tall facing a man like me, the same way she has done so all those years ago, I can't help but think, am I not responsible for taking that part of herself away from her? Enjoy your time as Mrs. Luke Wright. What a bunch of shite. Realizing this, I can only look away when she reaches up and places a hand on my face. Gone is the anger and only a soft smile remains while she looks at me with a shine in her eyes. The 7 years we've been together, I've only been nothing but a piece of shite to her, and yet here she is, still smiling at me the way she has done so many years ago. It's impossible not to feel like a complete and utter trash like this. She has an uncanny way of doing that to me, really, especially when she takes my hand in hers and places it right on her tummy, right where the 2 tiny babies are still growing, ours.
Love, look at me. We've already talked about this. If we are still going to do this, it has to be the 2 of us. I will stay with you, but things are going to have to change if we want this to work. We can't keep doubting each other like this.
Not until we find a way out of here.
I'm sure we can. Maybe they know something we don't.
You're going to rely on them for that? These peasants who brought this on us?
Keep talking about us like that, and see if any of us here will keep you out of this place.
Rebecca, stop! All of you, stop this!
To hear Lily speak out loud, I can't say I'm not surprised. She has always given me the impression of someone so meek from the moment I've met her, either from her inexperience or her station in life. She has never struck me as someone fitting to be a real estate agent, until now. Quietly, she puts herself between me and Daisy, cutting whatever scathing words we've yet to hurl at each other. The way she glares at me, it reminds me a little of the way my own mum would look at me. Particularly when I've done something wrong, and it's not a stare she's unused to showing. She has done this before, probably to a younger sibling. Huh. If she only sees us now as a pair of squabbling kids and not 2 mature adults, well, that's only to be expected. No doubt that's how she sees us. For a long moment, there's only silence in the room. Steel, the big oaf, doesn't even dare break it, neither does Feathers. With both merely watching us, bunch of wimps these men. Not that it matters when Lily starts speaking again after some of the anger and tension has lifted from the room.
Stop this, please! With or without that damn piece of paper,
A deep breath, an exhale, and then she closes her eyes, a crease forming between her eyebrows while she grips her hand tightly in front of her.
We still would have ended up in this mess.
The atmosphere that descends into the room right after that admission is anything but pleasant. Can I call it that, an admission? It seems like it from the way her eyes nervously flicks between her friends and I. She appears to know more than she lets on, and how she makes herself appear smaller after dropping that bomb on us doesn't sit quite well with me. and patience is something I don't have the luxury of having right now and bestowing upon other people. What else does this girl know? What else is she not telling us? Because from the look of this, even her friends has no idea what she's talking about. Unwilling to wait, I grab her arm before she retreats without explanation, waving the letter still in my hand in front of her.
Oh, sir, you're hurting me.
Hey, hands off her, right? Fuck off, Feathers. I have questions for your friend, and she better have the answers.
Luke, will you stop taking it out on every single person?
Your friend is hiding something, Daisy.
She struggles for a moment, but my hold eventually forces her to look up at me. Fear and uncertainty spreads across her features, especially when her eyes land on the damn paper. As much as I want to be considerate right now, I want answers.
What do you mean, Lily?
I'm not sure about it.
Don't give me that. You know something.
Ow! Please, sir. I know the paper's useless, okay?
At the mention of the letter, all of a sudden, Mint stands. I've almost forgotten she's here, her ramblings having faded away in the shouting. Without warning, she snatches the paper out of my hand. It's a miracle it didn't rip right there and there. But the way she glares at it, I think she may want to do exactly that.
We should have gotten rid of this thing. We should have burned it at the first opportunity we got.
No, even if we rip it to shreds, it won't do anything.
How did she know?
I think...
You don't know what I've seen, Santos. There were children, victims, all because they had no idea what this thing will do to them. Oh God, those poor souls. They were screaming and begging before she...
Then what about those people they mentioned in the news lately? All those who died? My coworkers? The open house clients? None of them had seen it. Even Rose. And yet they're all dead. I should know. That letter has been with me since I picked it up. And I swear I didn't make copies of this thing. Even if I wanted to save myself, I wouldn't do that to my friends. Or anyone.
Is that what the trip to BRC was for?
Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you guys until I was certain. None of you believed me the first time. I had to find proof.
And yet we're all here. Are you taking me for a fool, Lily?
I have to go with whiskey on this. Who knows how many has already seen this before you found it? This cursed thing has to go!
We would have ended up here either way. Maybe? I really don't know. Sir, please. All I know is that paper isn't the reason why all of this is happening. There's something else that...
This place.
Steele has been quiet this entire time. That the sound of him talking, however whispered it is, still manages to catch us all off guard. We all pause, turning to him likely with the same questions.
What?
Oh, sorry. Ugh. The same questions in our eyes.
I just remembered something a friend told me. You know, stuff about ghosts or curses. You probably don't want to hear it.
No, it might be something. What about this place, Zach?
Is he going to say sacrifice? There's still a moment where he hesitates, but Lily's urging eventually spurs him into speaking.
Remember what I told you the last time you and Ash visited? A few days ago?
You mean what Andrew told you? Those were just stories, Zach. It might not even help.
Regardless, Steele pauses while he allows Lily to remember. Soon enough, whatever it is dawns on her and her face lights up with something like hope. Of all things in this nightmare, hope? Her head snaps up and she reaches for Steele's arm to give it a squeeze. A reassurance or a confirmation? The meaning is lost even to Daisy, who glances at them baffled.
Belle, what are you... Becca, it's this place.
I like how that is all the nicknames that Luke gives them and not their real names.
What? You mean, like, burn this place down?
I still think we should get rid of this letter before we start thinking of destroying a place with some historical value.
I reckon get rid of everything. Yeah, just burn this whole place down and get rid of the letter. Yeah, everything.
What? No? We are not burning a multi-million-pound mansion, you peasants! I just spent a fortune on this!
Seriously, Luke? Are you really more worried about that?
I mean, yeah, money will kind of strike my mind as well.
Buttercup, marching, millions. It's gonna take years getting all that money back.
Well, you certainly won't be getting any of that money if you're dead. Really, Luke? Is that more important than your life?
Bloody fucking hell! Not only do I have trespassers on my property, but they're also arsonists!
It's not only that. Think about it.
Then they proceed to tell some ridiculous narrative about the supernatural, stories about ghosts, legends, curses, born out of great anger and pain, and whatever else people used to scare children. Not that I believe any of it, as if knowing will help. Bunch of loons, these people, officially off the rockers. To think I'll be stuck in this nightmare with people like them. What did I ever do the world? Does that make sense? Of course, it's all absurd until...
I think it's just like what the professor guy said. Just like that old story. This mansion and some other thing might be keeping her here. You know, something he wanted in life but never got to have. Something like that.
Or maybe it's not something, Zachary.
Someone. The who doesn't have to be uttered out loud. There's only one person in this room who that woman calls after. Every single one of them has heard it. Bloody hell, it's in the reluctant shift in Daisy's eyes when they flicker over to me, though only briefly. She's also holding information on her own, or perhaps a realization she just had. Doesn't matter. I know when people have slowly started to turn on me. How do they think I lasted in this cutthroat world? Betray them before they do the same thing to you. Put a knife in their back before they can act. Kill or be killed. Survival in a nutshell. What now? Are they going to throw me at that creature? See what happens to save themselves? I'm no fool.
No. You're all in on this, aren't you?
Are you people implying that my husband, that we should just...
Of course! Of fucking course! Ah!
Luke, that isn't what I...
Are you all going to stoop that low?
It's nothing like that, Ash. All we're saying is that maybe he might be able to do something about this.
Drop it, you guys. We're not leaving anyone here.
Just like that, the bickering begins anew. Bloody peasants. My head's already aching just listening to them, to think this is all the solution they can come up with. I should have just stabbed all of them and made a run for it. It doesn't help that with each second we spend talking here, the crazier this whole place gets. The voices have become louder and somehow sounding more vicious. If the things in this room start floating, mark my words, I will fucking flip out. And they may not be thinking of it right now, but eventually they'll turn on me. Such is the nature of humans. Better find a way out of this place as soon as possible if I want to stay alive. Fuck, I still have so much to do. None of our choices seem sound, but who knows? We don't understand a shite about this place. Might as well try everything, yeah? Whatever works. If I also have to be the one to make that bloody decision, so be it. Less room for errors with the only sane one doing the thinking. On the off chance I'm wrong, well, they suggested it. I decide to burn the letter or burn the mansion. Fucking reckon both, but yeah, it's true that because we didn't show Rose the letter in chapter 1 as well. So I reckon burn both. Like every fucking thing. Burn the mansion as well. Yeah. I'm going to regret this, I will. But with these cries growing louder, this has become the easiest decision I have ever made. I'm getting tired of hearing her sobbing, really. It's just irritating. Isn't she getting tired of it? And I mean, what? I mean, you're not going to live in this mansion no more, right? Of course you wouldn't after all this shit. And like, to sell it off again to someone, that's just, oh, that's mad. Yep. Besides, someone has to act fast, think fast, and what else is the root cause of our problems but this place where the letter was found? No need to make things more complicated. I started here, why won't it end here? If what Lily has said is true, then there's all the more reason to destroy it. Put an end to this madness before someone thinks of putting this blasted place up in the market. When I get out of this place, I swear I'm suing a bunch of people, run that estate company to the ground if need be. We spent millions, damn it, millions. With a sigh and perhaps a heavy heart, I opened one of the drawers in my study table, taking a bottle of liquor out for myself, then passing it on to every occupant in the room. They accept it, but not without a look of protest or a confused glance my way. It does shut them all up, so maybe I've done something good.
This isn't the time.
Even more when I pop the cork off the bottle and pour its contents on the floor.
Well, what are you simpletons waiting for?
We waste no time dousing the whole room, the smell of alcohol filling the air. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they're more than eager to set this whole place on fire, and the blaze catches easily in this room when I set it alight using the blasted papers as kindling. With the whole place drenched with wine and all manner of things alcoholic I've been hiding from Hannah, the small fire soon turns into an inferno. In a matter of seconds, we're out the door. It doesn't lead where I'm hoping it will, although ending up in the kitchen does give us more reason to play like a bunch of pyromaniacs. Fishing the liquor stocks from the cupboards, we also do the same thing we've done to the study. Door after door in every room we pass. You guys didn't encounter the ghost at all? Pouring bottle after bottle of expensive aged liquor and setting everything on fire, only leaving once the blaze has started in earnest. When we run out of liquor, we simply drop the bottle and take one of the many nooks I've stashed one. And take one off the many nooks I've stashed one. And there's no lack of it in here. The hard stuff, the shorts, the watered down kind, gifts from distant relative, friends, so-called friends, you name it. I've made sure there's always one within reach.
How many of these things do you keep in this house?
I always have a few bottles in the bedroom, you know, the parlor and the dining room.
You have problems, man.
Well, isn't this the time to discuss them?
Turns out it'll be useful now. Not to drown out my sorrows, but for this, wonders of wonders, though I suppose I can now say it has also saved my life. But there's no time for some introspection now, because with each room we pass and burn, the place also becomes easier to navigate. As if it's slowly righting itself, returning to what it's supposed to be. Soon, we finally find ourselves standing before the main door. The strong odor of burning wood, cloth and varnish alike wafts under the doors of the rooms we've previously torched, slowly filling the hall with a thick black smoke. Oh man, I hope you guys got insurance. The blaze has also started in earnest in every part of the house. I can already feel the heat seeping from the rooms I've set aflame. In a matter of minutes, flames will engulf the whole house. Fittingly, that is when she appears again before us, watching us from the top of the stairs while her world goes up in flames around her. However, what catches my eyes is that expression on her face. Why doesn't the ghost stop this? Not the vile smile I've already grown accustomed to, or the one where her eyes gleam with complete hatred. This one, forlorn, is the only word I can think of to describe it.
Please, help me. Help me, please.
Can the dead still feel? Can she hear us? Or is that merely another one of her tricks to trap us in this nightmare? Like this, however, she seems almost like the woman she used to be. And I don't waste any time pondering over it. Not with the exit just a few steps away. The doors finally open, and through it I can glimpse the world outside. Safety. However, I do turn, if only to see the last of her. A farewell more than anything. For all her attempts to lure me, draw me in, her wishes to be with me, she does not stop me. When I finally run from this horrid place, quietly she disappears. Oh man. Watching a multi-million-pound house burn before me, for some reason, nothing about this bothers me. Maybe it's that one last look on her face that has changed it. Maybe it's what I've seen or heard inside. There's only a calm, a stillness. The same hush that comes after a terrible storm has swept the countryside, and with it is the sight of the sun rising above the horizon. Ever so slowly the sky begins to lighten before my eyes. Darkness giving way to the warm morning hues, soft rays spilling over the vast expanse of Luxman's countryside. Nearby, the trees sway and rustle with the breeze, a passing draft that carries even into this room from outside, cold enough to make me shiver. What about Johans and the security? The remains of a storm that has passed. In the distance, I can hear the soft chirping of birds while the rest of the world stirs, wakes, and the butlers and the maids. Dawn at last. We are free. Whew. Like the flames that engulfed the mansion that night, whispers quickly spread across Luxman City after the incident. Officers who investigated it have simply deemed it an unfortunate accident. Regardless of the truth, Luke Wright files criminal charges against Briar Realty Corporation for undisclosed reasons to the public, forcing the latter to declare bankruptcy. A move that has merely stoked the rumors further. But for those who still believe in the stories of the old and those who know the truth, it is but a testament to the curse and the secrets of the Ermengarde mansion has hidden for centuries. If there will come a time those will finally be revealed, only the ashes of the now ruined mansion know. However, on nights when the wind howls and thunder booms across the sky, some still claim hearing the voices where it once stood. Of cries and wails that fill the nights and desperate calls of help for anyone who dare listen. As for those who once tread its halls... Oh, CGs. Despite their problems, Luke and Hannah Wright managed to salvage their 7-year marriage. Oh, where's the nose? Not without its fair share of challenges, of course, especially for Luke. But for the sake of their children, he tries, although the man still fears fatherhood, afraid of becoming like his father was to him. However, with a little help from Hannah, he eventually comes around, especially when the twins are born. He's still far from being a good father, he thinks he will never be. There are parts of him that will always remain unpleasant and will exasperate Hannah to no end. But even someone like him sees the joy in this, in having a family. For the first time in a long time, he admits he's content. They're happy. Months after her recovery, Marianne McCullough heads back to her homeland, ready to close a chapter of a past she has left hanging for so long. There she visits Lorraine's grave, asking for forgiveness from the girl she once loved, something she has intentionally avoided for years. Although the terror of what she has witnessed inside the Ermengarde mansion still clings to her, she bravely chooses to move on from it, turning a new leaf by focusing on a new branch of her interior design company and leaving her interior design company to Luxman in the hands of her secretary instead. Although she never returns to the city after, she is frequently seen visiting to check on the people has become acquainted with her in her years there. What? She is frequently seen visiting to check on the people she has become acquainted with her in her years there. Having finally accepted herself, she won't deny she's in a happier place now. Despite making the Ireland branch and her interior design company her focus now, Marianne continues to cater to her most avid patrons in Luxman when requested. And after her work on the Ermengarde mansion, the Wright couple, particularly Hannah Wright, have never trusted another to handle the design for any of the place they own. That's nice. Upon moving to the new place after giving birth to hers and Luke's children, Marianne's name is the first thing she calls, while the woman is quick to fly back to the city at the socialite summons. Not only helping with the decorations of their new place, but also assisting with the renovations, much to Hannah's delight. Since then, the two women has kept a close friendship. Often they can be seen going around town together when Marianne is in town, and Hannah can be heard recommending the designer to her peers during parties. In a city, often keeping an ear out for any gossip, one can't deny that both women have found a confidant in the other. With the help from family and friends, Zachary Steele... Oh, that is his name, Steele. I just thought that's what Luke just called him because of his physique. Zachary Steele is soon able to open a photography studio of his own, something he has only dreamed of having as a child. Although he still hopes to get back to making indie films someday, client work and small projects has kept him mostly busy. Hectic as it may be, he can only be glad for the amount of work pouring in. It has made moving on the incident in the Ermengarde mansion easier, if not faster. But while there are still nightmares, with support from his family, his doctor, and his own drive, the dark images have finally turned into pleasant dreams. He's aware he won't ever truly forget, but he's no longer running away. At times when he's not busy or after a hard day's work, he thinks there's another story for the big screen to be told in that. An idea he may soon turn into reality once his time affords it. In the months that follow, Rebecca Gales becomes a prominent researcher within Luxman's major academic circles, especially after writing what she has discovered about Anselm Village and the Ermengarde mansion. With help from Professor Andrew Clark, she is soon able to secure funding to continue her research, presenting her findings yearly at local and international symposiums. Now at the end of her current study, she hopes to publish her first book, correcting all inaccuracies in the city's current history. A move supported by both colleagues, students, and friends alike. Though she knows she still has a long way to go before she can even begin to change people's minds about it, Professor Clark has warned her as much she perseveres. Doing it not for herself, but for the sake of a history the history generation must never forget. No matter how disturbing her experience with the curse may have been, she remains the worrywart she has always been. Even after what she has seen, she continues to fret over people she cares about, sometimes much to their frustration or embarrassment. But if there's one thing that has shifted, it's her relationship with the people in the group, particularly with Zachary Steele. Yeah, because they weren't close at all from the start. In fact, on a numerous occasions, she has been spotted dropping by his new studio, bringing the man food on days when he's swamped with work. They also seem to have grown more comfortable around each other than before. Maybe it's born out of their shared experience, or maybe the way they see each other has simply changed naturally due to the years they've known each other. Regardless of why, it's a change the man welcomes and appreciates. In turn, he strives to return her kind gestures whenever he can. For all the horrors they've seen, who would have thought something good would come of it? Although not seen as frequently as his friends recently due to work, when Ashton Frey finds the time, he sometimes helps Rebecca with her research, mostly just to help her bring research materials. Despite Rebecca's old feelings for the man, they remain good friends to this day. She never brings it up again after the night of her confession. Once is enough. While she still cares for Ashton as a dear friend, it is clear she has already moved on from her childhood crush, finally accepting it as a part of her life that has already gone by, much like everything that has changed between them. And with this acceptance comes a more selfless person who genuinely cares for her friends beyond any selfish feeling she used to cling to. Looking back at it now, she recognizes that how things played out is certainly for the better, not only for others but also for herself. Amidst her struggles, Rebecca finds an unlikely companion in Luke Wright. Oh, that's nice. While being a father has kept him busy nowadays, he still manages to make time for his goddaughter Kylie Suarez, though the man still won't admit it when asked. Rebecca still regards the man as insufferable. She doubts it'll ever change. But after all she has seen, much as she denies it, she now considers his presence the closest thing she has to comfort. A similar sentiment the businessman seems to hold, even confiding in the wound of his own problems and fears, things he couldn't voice out to his wife. Their friendship may be awkward at best, but with the grim reality of death having once shadowed over the two of them, it's something that they eventually grow fond of in time. Oh, that's super nice. With her newfound courage, Isabella Santos finally chooses to pursue what she really wants for herself. Having made enough to keep a family afloat for a few years with their blessing, she quits her job at Briar Realty Corporation and takes a scholarship offer from the local university. Though remarkably out of practice and unsure if she'll be able to keep up by the time she returns to university, she finds her feet soon enough with help from people close to her. And with her confidence in her skills growing, so do the number of people recognizing her and her work. It doesn't take long for several award-giving bodies to take notice of her. For all her accomplishments, however, she has never truly forgotten what happened at the Ermengarde mansion. I don't think it's possible to. The images still remain in her, and on particularly unpleasant nights, terrors continue to visit her dreams. She knows those won't ever disappear from her life. It has become a part of her in the same way death has permanently taken from her. However, she's no longer afraid. And with a brave face, she carries on, earnestly wishing that someday she'll be able to paint brighter, more vivid thoughts on her canvas. An honest portrayal of life and hope amidst the fear. Shortly after accepting the scholarship grant from Luxman University, Isabella moves from Salemwell residence in favor of staying in a dorm close to a campus. Although Rebecca Gale's quick to offer assistance for the move, she does admit she will be missing her neighbor of more than 5 years. When all is said and done, she has become fonder of the girl over the years, and with their shared experience over the curse, they have only grown closer. Isabella leaves with a promise to visit every once in a while, and even though she still jokingly complains about Rebecca's bossy attitude, she confesses that she also misses the woman's fussing. After all, in a place miles away from her real family, Rebecca is still the closest thing she has to a sister. More than a year later, once everything in their respective lives have settled, Zachary Steele and Isabella Santos finally hold their first exhibit together. Oh, that's nice. A project that has been in the making for almost 2 years after the photographer casually brought it up to the other artist. While merely intended as a small event, it has been surprisingly attended by several members of Luxman's upper class and art enthusiasts. Although only a few of the pieces have been meant for sale, the show has brought prominence to Zachary and Isabella's names in the city's art scene. It has since been followed by several other exhibits by the two, both in and out of the city. Currently, they are planning to hold their first show overseas. Wow. Yet, even with this unexpected overwhelming fame, friendship between the two has remained strong. Theirs, after all, is a bond that goes beyond being mere partners in a small project. He's a family as much as she is his. While she's aware she still has plenty of ways to go, getting back to school has also opened a lot of opportunities for Isabella. At times, part-time work have started to come in droves, and she's able to support herself financially through her art alone. Something she has only dreamed of as a child. And when clients are generous enough, she's able to send she's the missing apostrophe s. She's able to send money back home as well, despite her family's reassurances. One such client is Marianne McCullough, interior design company, who frequently commissions her for murals after the woman has learned of her skill. Though at times she finds it difficult to keep up with the interior designer's standard for quality, it's a job and a challenge she's only too happy to accept if it means doing what she loves. Following his success in bringing several major cases to a close, Ashton Frey receives a recommendation for transfer to Luxman's lead agency against organized crimes, an endorsement agency backed by the newly appointed successor to the late Chief Inspector Lee, Abigail Harris. Oh, did he die? Chief Inspector Lee? How did he die? Knowing he'll have more resources, leeway, and a bigger chance at ultimately bringing Luke Wright to justice, Ashton Frey accepts. He's still after Luke. He still warns the people close to him against Luke and his associates, but only a friendly reminder now more than anything. Though he does worry, he believes they are wise enough to know what they are doing and trusts their judgment. For now, he has decided to leave the evidence and the law to speak for itself and take care of the man once the proper time comes. Nowadays, police work in operations keep him busy, sometimes taking him far away from the city he grew up in for days on end. A rare thing for him to enjoy once upon a time, yet this time, he never loses his drive, simply growing more determined after having finally found a clear purpose close to the rush and excitement he dreamed of as a child. Although Ashton still keeps mum about specific details of his work, his experience with the curse has slowly taught him how to open up, especially to those he knows that genuinely care for him. He still has a long way to go, he knows that, but for the sake of the people who are still with him, those who have chosen to stay, he hopes that there will come a day when he no longer has to hide behind his own lies. A day when he is no longer afraid of facing the truth in his own words. On his days off, Ashton is usually seen loitering around Zachary Steele's studio, either to help him out on one of his pet projects or exasperating the other man on purpose. Either or, it's mostly the latter. At certain times, he'll volunteer to model for one of Zach's projects, in spite of the photographer's reassurances that it's not needed. Regardless, Ashton insists before complaining how meticulous the whole process is hours later, to Zach's utter amusement. Though sometimes they may get into small trivial arguments, things have stayed cordial between the two. If anything, the ordeal they've both gone through has merely strengthened a friendship the detective didn't expect to find in anyone. Between the lingering trauma and the measly attempts at normalcy, both Ashton and Isabella know that there are things will never be the same. Gone is the friendly banter and rapport, as their petty arguments and light teasing. After all that has been said and done, it's only sensible for things to fall apart the way it all did. It is inevitable, so to speak. Yet, in brief moments when their eyes meet and a last stolen glance is given, a shadow of it can still be seen in them. Is this because I chose Rebecca over Isabella? A quite steadfast thing that remains, a trace of what could have been had things not crumbled. Neither holds onto it, of course, as much as they wish to. Both of them think it's already far too late. They can only walk away from it and leave nothing but a heavy regret in the wake. Oh, let me see the relationship. Isabella with Ashton. Oh, it's not that bad. Whew, boy. Wow, look at these amazing voice actors. Amanda Lee, Amber Lee Connors, Anthony Sardina, sorry if I butchered that, Elsie Lovelock, Melissa Sternberg, Howard Wang, Curtis Arnott, Jeff Wernan, Amanda Julina, Jason Winoka, Stephen Kelly, Brittany Lauder, Natalie Van Sistine. Whew, and all these additional voices as well. My goodness. Well done. Well fucking done. Absolute beauty of a project. What an amazing story. What an amazing game. Wholly invested in it. Huh. I didn't expect to enjoy this so much. Chapter 7 didn't have much jump scares or QTE, but overall this game is absolutely amazing. Oh man, thank you so much for joining me on this. And you guys must check it out. You can find The Letter, this horror visual novel, on Steam that it's available on. Yes, you guys should definitely check it out, because there are also different routes that you can take, and I've only done one playthrough, but this game has multiple playthroughs and so many different events that can happen. And my goodness, these songs as well, oh, absolutely amazing. Yeah, you guys have to check it out. But yes, thank you so much for tuning into the Midnight Channel today. It's only just before 1 AM. This chapter didn't take that long. It only took about 4 hours. Yeah, so not too bad. I could have done this in midnight, as opposed to yesterday's one, which Ash's arc was 6 hours. My goodness, what an ordeal that was. But yeah, 4 hours. I could have done it in midnight, but just to be safe, I kept it at 10. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, guys. I just can't appreciate how much I can appreciate that, you know, for joining me on such an emotional roller coaster this is. So yeah, join me. I reckon, yeah, join me tomorrow, and I'm going to do something a bit different. I don't know what I'll do yet, but let's have some fun with some games, and then by next week we'll be back to horror games on the Midnight Channel once again. I'm thinking either Amnesia or Outlast, or maybe something else like that. Haven't decided yet, but we'll see. So yeah, I hope you guys will tune into that, and for now I'll shut up and let you guys enjoy this music, and I'll do a goodbye at the very end. Woof.
Tio? Where are you, Tio?
Oh, there's more.
Tio? Please? She's here!
Oh no. Takako? Kylie?
She's still here, Tio!
Oh my god. Oh my god, no, Takako, you bitch! What are you doing? Oh my god, don't tell me it was wrong and we were supposed to destroy the letter. No! Oh no, Kylie! Ah, no! You bitch, Takako! Not Kylie! That London Bridge singing bitch! Oh god! Oh man. Dear you, if you're reading this, that means you finished playing the game in one way or another, and we thank you for the time you spent in playing the letter. It was my absolute pleasure. This game is our passion project more than anything, and we sincerely hope we delivered in bringing you a one-of-a-kind visual novel experience. You definitely did. The letter is the first of many visual novels coming from us. If you liked what we did with this game and would like to support us, please take some time to click on the button below to find out how. Thank you so much for everything. Let's talk soon. Love, YY Yang Yang Mobile Team. Wow. Yeah, guys, as well, they've got from what I saw on Steam as well, they've also got at least one other visual novel, which isn't a horror one, but it's a visual novel nonetheless, that you guys can check out as well. So definitely, please check out the letter, and if horror's not your thing, they've also got another kind of visual novel there too. But wowee. Oh, chapter 2 we've got 100%, chapter 4 as well. Holy cow, look at these CGI. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Takako, no. No. Oh, I can use my scroll for this. Ah, I see. Memory fragments, what are those? I can't click on them. Miscellaneous. Oh no. Oh god, not Kylie. Oh, I thought everyone was safe. Holy shit. What a game this is, you know? Absolutely amazing. Amazing. Now, I'm going to try to 100% all of this, albeit not on a live stream, but I'll definitely put it up on YouTube and Twitch. Not without a whole run through. I'm just going to skip through all of the dialogue just so I can get all the CGs and stuff, and maybe I'll put up another epilogue here and there. But yeah, you guys just must watch this and play this for yourself, because oh goodness gracious, it is absolutely amazing. Oh, that wasn't a true ending? Oh, I wonder what the true ending is. Romance endings. Luke and, well, I mean, yeah, okay, wow, I guess you can get more than one romance. Okay. Friendship bad. Ah, really? Huh. Alright. Well, holy cow. Oh. So much to see, so much to collect as well. This game just keeps giving more and more, and I absolutely love it. Oh, there's even a trailer and all that. Oh, we don't need to see that. Music room art book. Oh gosh. Wow. That is absolutely amazing. Alright then, well, I'm going to leave it there, you guys. So, please check it out, and I really do hope you guys enjoyed it, like I said, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.